pumpkins and like a long gourd for
Well, welcome,
Sorry.
subspecies, to
Oh my
the
god.
ANP
My mouth moves.
annual Halloween special. I am General Ursus, and I can confidently say that the only good human is a dead human. Joining me for the first time on, the second time on an ANP livestream, the first time on a Halloween special, is the wonderful, the beautiful Jennifer Poutke. Jennifer, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's
That's
Jenny.
fun.
I'm a producer here at ANP.
Yeah! She's a producer. And joining me as well, where's my mouse? Visibility is very low in this thing. I just would like to let everybody know that. Joining me as well is my good friend and Star Trek fanatic, shocker, James Frasca. James, introduce yourself.
Lieutenant Commander James Frasca, reporting for duty. Also, I'm director of photography on a lot of shoots with Adam. So, hello. And yeah, I like Star Trek.
Of course you like Star Trek. And certainly last but not least, Antonio. Say hi, Antonio.
You know, I'm actually really honored, Adam, that you brought me onto the stream where you finally came out as a furry.
Well, I wish to. Well, I am a furry. Yes. I'm not gonna. I won't lie. This is my persona.
How much you pay for that mask?
$26.22.
That's not bad.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
bad
pretty
deal
cheap,
for a
pretty
We
cheap.
fursuit.
love Walmart. We love Walmart. I saw this at Walmart. I'd like to tell you the backstory of my costume for a little bit. I was actually gonna just be cheaply dress up like the nostalgia critic again. And all of a sudden, I saw this ape mask, right? And I was like, shit, I just did go ape. The podcast with Oliver and I. And I'm like, I gotta see if I can't find a long sleeve purple shirt and a black sleeveless shirt or leather shirt to go over it. And I found a t-shirt that was black that I was like, okay, I can cut the sleeves off. And I'm like, that's my fucking costume, bitches. My glasses are fogging up like the snow tomorrow because I have my glasses on under this. So this is going to be very entertaining to do as my visibility slowly falls to 0.
Are we placing bets on how long the mask is gonna last for?
It's not going to be long, I can tell you. I am
give it 11
currently
minutes.
sweating profusely in this thing. And
I can
once
grab
again,
my helmet.
my
That's why I
glasses
didn't.
just have fogged up like the snow tomorrow.
You know what you kind of look like, Adam?
What do I,
You
what
look
do I
like
look
you
like?
look like
I
the
look like
gorilla
Conga.
from that one episode of SpongeBob.
No, yeah, I suppose. You see, I think for my audience that's watching, I think they would understand this, and I think Antonio, you would to an extent because I showed you a clip from this. I look like Conga from that horrible movie. Is what I look like. God, I can't see a fucking thing. What? You know what? Antonio, ramble on for a little bit.
I what? What are you talking about? You can't just put me on the spot. Okay, so in the 1970s, Henry, Emily, and William Afton decided to go and create a restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner, where family and fun would come to life. But then they created 2 characters for it. There was Spring Bonnie and there was Fredbear, and the cutting edge
There we
technology.
go.
That
I fixed the problem.
He's got the glasses on the outside.
Yes,
Now he's smart.
I am.
He's
I now
smart.
feel like
Smart.
Winston. The cheap Chinese knockoff of Winston.
Instead
from
of ape
from
together
Overwatch.
strong, it's instead of ape together strong, it's ape together smart.
Ape together, yeah. Oh no! What was that game, Antonio, that we played where we had to come up? It was like we had to create a TV show, and I came up with the show where it was like this magical space ape that's traveling through the planet
Channel
with
A.
all
oh,
these
you're
powers.
talking about Channel
Channel
A.
A.
Yeah. And I said but the plot of the show isn't that he's a powerful space ape with all these weapons and smart. It's that he's just trying to find a planet that can grow bananas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
uh, this is actually going better than I thought it was going to. Well, subspecies. Happy Halloween. I know it's very early on in the month, but I fucking love Halloween. I don't know about you guys.
Oh,
It's
It's
my
my favorite
favorite.
holiday.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. All together.
Well,
All original.
Pure chaos is what.
well,
what
it
this
is
needs
not
to
the
be.
hot take, I suppose.
Well, let's
I mean,
kind of let's
you get to dress up as your favorite character. So
exactly.
I mean, it's like cosplay, but for
Yeah, I do it
non-cosplayers
year
like
round.
me. Yeah.
It's cosplay, but socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was actually gonna ask. Why don't we kind of? I gotta tell you, the reason why I love Halloween so much is one. Look, this is ridiculous, and I think it's great. It also gives me the excuse to watch all the really shitty Italian horror movies that I want, and no one can judge me for it. And also it's just fall. You know, fall will always be my favorite month. October I think will just be my favorite month in general, and yeah, it's just great. I think it's also just a fun holiday. Where people can just sort of embrace the silliness, embrace being scared, embrace having fun, and that's one reason why I love doing the annual ANP live stream more than anything else. Jenny, what's something that like you guys like to do as like a tradition on Halloween? What's something that you guys like to do, Jenny? We'll not to put you on spot or anything, but we'll start with you.
Well, growing up, my dad and I would always carve a pumpkin together, so that was always really fun. I try to do that now, like with Matt, my husband. But I always make a point of watching the like old 2000s like Halloween Disney Channel original movies, so like Twitches, Halloween Town. Um, like I like those a lot. That's my vibe. That's my mood. And yeah, just decorating, going out, enjoying the fall season, corn mazes. Out where I live, there's like a ton of corn mazes, apple picking, pumpkin picking. So I try to go do that. And yeah. And
I,
usually now I'm performing like at a bunch of Halloween gigs, doing the dress up thing. So I get to perform a
I was
lot.
gonna
Usually
ask
it's like,
about that because I remember I went to one of them where you guys were
"Mhm,
doing the Hocus Pocus thing, and that was pretty
yeah,
cool. I'm not gonna lie.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. We are no longer at that place. We're at like a different place now.
Hmm.
But it's really fun. It's really cool. We're doing a ton of different gigs this year. Most of it's like Hocus Pocus, Sanderson sister gigs. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, you all say how much you like to dress up. I get to do that and get paid for it. So it's pretty fun.
That
Not to
sounds
brag or
pretty.
anything.
That's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty awesome. So let's go on to James. Jim, I know you
Yes.
love Halloween, sir.
I do love Halloween. Um, I guess I don't know if I'm like famous for it, but our friend group at least, I throw a Halloween party every year, and I usually go balls to the wall with that Halloween party. I dress up I used to dress up the whole apartment, but now me and my wife have a house, and so now we actually decorate the whole basement, and it already has a bar in it. Uh, so it's a lot of fun. I remember when COVID happened, and I said, I can't do a party. And I just remember by the time we got to October, the rule was you could have like 6 people over, and you had to be 6 feet apart. And I remember I was like, guys, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it if we can't be safe. But then people were like, Jim, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. And so we did, and we did it safe, and we're still doing it. If you want, show up here. October 26th is our Halloween party this year.
Come and find
You
me.
heard that, audience. Let's dox James right now. He lives in.
I want that GeoGuessr guy to like be able to look in my room here and like find where I live. I know he would be able to.
So I actually heard the hint of an airplane going by at that point. And the flight schedules at that trajectory would be here, here, or here. And then judging by that TV and how it's playing, the actual frequency is going to be here, here, and here. And that skeleton actually tells me that he's here.
Shia. We just got to figure out how Shia LaBeouf is involved.
Yeah. Well,
so,
then 4chan will get on it.
I want to say, Jim, the 2021 was the first one I actually went to. No, it was the second one that I went to, because I remember the second one that I went to, and I think it was the COVID one. That was the one where I dressed up as Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes.
I
If I remember, people thought you were dressed up as Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yes, because Teddy Roosevelt, that sexy motherfucker of a president, is Ron Swanson. Actually, they are the same person.
So we started
it's
the
a mathematical
Halloween party tradition. I want to say it would have been the year that we graduated, because that's when we moved into our apartment. So that would have been 2017. So if you came the year the year before COVID, that would have been only the second year that we did it.
Yeah.
So
because I
remember...
actually
we started in 2016 because we did it in Jem's mom's house originally.
Yeah.
And that was awful.
That was awful.
We didn't have any decorations. We didn't have any games. We just had people come over. But now you have to come with a costume. And I remember in like 2019, if I remember correctly, people would show up and not wear a costume. And because we had done it a couple of years at that point, I literally went to Dollar Tree and I had costumes for people that didn't show up with costumes. I was like, this is a costume party. You're either putting this on or you're leaving.
See, Jim, you planned for the worst case scenario for that very reason. I'm very proud of you.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
people don't show up with costumes.
Well, that's because they suck. But last but certainly not least is my little boy, Antonio. Antonio, why do you like Halloween so fucking much, dude?
Well, you see, I like everything spooky. I'm obsessed with the spooky. You know, I try to show you like spooky movies or spooky like internet stuff all the time, and you hate it because it's too spooky for you. I just like watching spooky things all the time, and this is the spooky kind of year, so I like going to Halloween stores every year and looking for different props, costumes, what have you, or just generally looking around and like playing with like the displays that like Spirit will have up where you like step on the thing and it's like oh no, he's died.
Sorry.
My eyes are so bloodshot right now. The amount of sweat that has gone into my fucking... Oh,
all right, so if you guessed 8:12 p.m., you won the lottery.
You won. Oh,
the wolf
shit.
has been skinned.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, Adam, you shaved.
Well, you know what, Antonio? You
I'll replace
me
it
for being too spooked. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. There's some shit that you fucking show me that genuinely like there was that ARG or that analog horror where it was like the thing that mimics you in the woods.
Oh yes, Gemini Horror or Gemini Home Entertainment.
Yeah, that's the one that terrifies me to no end.
Oh, it's so beautifully well done. I think I forget what it's like exactly called, but it's the episode of Gemini Home Entertainment. You can watch it for free on YouTube, where they give you like wilderness camping tips. And then it just turns into how to prevent getting attacked by a skinwalker. And they show the skinwalker. It's so disturbing because it's just like all it is like a dude in a field just screaming "Help me" when he clearly doesn't need help. God. And it's like the most effective shot in the entire like video.
Well,
like it's crazy.
That goes into one of the things that I think kind of goes into what type of horror do I like. I love being scared. I really do. And to me personally, the jump scares and all that horse shit, like that doesn't really scare me. It does for like a brief minute, and then you kind of like forget about it and you laugh like, haha, I got scared and blah blah blah, you know. It's the stuff that's just a consistent unnerving atmosphere, which is that to T. I think probably the best example of a movie I can think of that has that like constant creepy atmosphere, probably The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is probably my favorite horror movie actually overall is that one. But
I
that's just kind of what I like.
I could say one of the best movies that does that really well is Hereditary.
I was gonna say you're gonna say Hereditary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hereditary is probably one of, if not my favorite horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
just because like so spoiler alert, I guess a little bit for Hereditary. So all of the trailers made that movie seem like it was about like this girl who was like possessed by a demon because she's like fucking weird.
Right.
And then the movie was going to be like the little girl being possessed by the demon, like terrorizing her family. That's not what the movie's about, like at all. It was a red herring. They were lying to you. The movie is about this little girl who seems kind of creepy and has like kind of these weird inclinations, and then like 20 minutes into the movie she gets killed, and
And
then
it's
the
pretty
rest of the
gruesome.
movie, yeah, and it like
Yeah.
so she like sticks her head out the window of a car because she's having an allergic reaction, she's just trying to breathe, and then they drive by a telephone pole and the telephone pole hits her in the head and decapitates her.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And she's like she's like maybe
She's a
like 11 years 10 11
yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ooh.
and literally the scene right after they show that happened is a scene of the mother. You see it like through the doorway. It's the mother and her boyfriend, and the mother is just like screaming, crying, and it goes on for probably about a minute and a half, and it's just that. No movement,
Yes.
no other sound. It's just her crying in devastation. And it is one of the most chilling scenes I think I've ever seen in a theater.
There's a movie called Possession starring Sam Neill, and one of the reasons why I kind of admire movies where like an actor will just go for it. And I mentioned that because you mentioned the mother crying, and to me that's like a prime example in modern movies, anyways, of an actress just fucking going for it, not being afraid of the camera, just embracing the role and going for it. You know, not being afraid of maybe looking a little silly, just going for it. And there's a movie called Possession with Sam Neill, and there's this woman, his girlfriend is like walking down a subway, and she just has the most horrific meltdown I have ever seen in a film. I wish I could play it for you guys and not get a fucking copyright. But she's like smashing all the groceries against like the side of the wall and everything like that, and she's screaming to the top of her lungs. And apparently that entire thing was improvised. The director just said go. And she just went ape shit. And it's fucking chilling. Granted, that's also a movie where she blatantly has sex with like a spaghetti alien thing. But you know,
Interesting.
Nice.
we love it.
Wow, Hollywood stealing and
Actually, it's not. It wasn't Hollywood that made that. It was a Polish film. It was a Polish film with English actors.
I see Hollywood. Sorry.
Hollywood.
I like how quickly you apologized for that because you just knew.
It's don't laugh at that. It's not funny.
I fucking love Halloween. I love the pumpkins. I love going outside, especially where I'm living now, and just smelling the leaves. Like this fall has a smell.
Oh yeah.
And I just love that so much. And you know, I was telling you guys before we went on here, September 30th going into October 1st, I had my lights up and ready to go. And the moment it reached midnight, I was bam, they were on, and I was ready to go for Halloween this year. And in typical Adam fashion, the main things that I have been watching have been Italian trash horror movies. You know, in typical Adam fashion, no ifs, ands, or buts. Right now, I'm watching one about, it's called Contamination, and it's essentially Alien, right? So you know how an alien, you have the face hugger, comes out of an egg, and it wraps around you, and it puts the thing in your mouth and injects you with the thing, and then you get the chest burster. Well, in this film, they said, well, get rid of the alien. Just let the egg explode on you, and it just makes you explode.
Oh, have you seen the new
It's
Alien
beautiful.
movies? Because they do that.
No, I haven't seen the new Alien movie.
So in only horror franchise that I like is Alien. So in the new movies, in Prometheus and Covenant, they the eggs don't have well, they do have face huggers, but they have the mist. So like when the egg opens, just the mist comes out, and if you inhale the mist, you get the whatever the virus that creates um the chest burster.
See, that's
It's
kind of.
terrifying.
I have a love-hate relationship with the Alien franchise because I think they've just
So do
gone
I.
too far. Like I'm just like, come on, just make them. They're creepy enough in Aliens, you know.
Alien and Aliens, I think, are fantastic. Alien 3 is okay.
Have you
Alien
seen?
4 doesn't exist.
Have you seen the not the theatrical cut of Alien 3? I forgot what it's called. Give me a second. It's not a director's cut because David Fincher refuses to touch Alien 3. Let's see.
Whatever is on Hulu. That's what I saw.
I don't think that's
I don't know if it's the theatrical cut or not.
well, I'm about to find out for you.
Or if it's the extended cut.
The assembly cut. That's what it is. The assembly cut. Alien 3 the
Hi,
assembly
Lucas.
cut.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
Lucas.
you.
Lucas is an Alien.
Did you say
fan
Netflix?
too.
Did you say
No,
Netflix, Jim?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Hulu. At least that's
Right
what they
now
were
you
on
can
there
watch
a couple
Alien
months
3
ago.
on Hulu. The extended edition? 2 hours and 24. Yeah, I think that's the assembly cut. The way how you can
So-
tell right off the back if it's the assembly cut or not is in the I think in the theatrical cut the alien comes from a bull or a dog.
It's a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah, and okay. Fucking A. Bull or dog. Can't remember.
It's a dog.
Was a
In Alien
dog
3.
because in the assembly cut it's a different thing.
Oh,
The
so then
theatrical
I
cut.
haven't seen
Okay,
it.
so you watch the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut it's a dog, and the assembly cut it's an ox.
Yeah.
So
Why
yeah.
would there be an ox on the prison colony?
Because they need to eat. It's cattle. For
Oh,
them to
okay,
eat.
that makes sense. I don't know if I like it better being the dog because like they don't
It moves like a dog. To me, it fits better as the dog just because the alien kind of like
Yeah.
leaps and bounds. It moves more like a dog. But I will say
I
this:
haven't
I
seen
think
Romulus, by the way.
I think the assembly cut's better because in the assembly cut when Sigourney Weaver gets it, in the theatrical cut the chest burster comes out, right, and she's like holding it. She falls into the lava. That doesn't happen in the assembly cut. She just sacrifices herself before it could come out of her. Overall, though, I think the assembly cut's a vastly superior film to the theatrical cut. Just makes more sense and flows a little bit better.
I didn't mind Prometheus and Covenant. I thought Prometheus was interesting. I think my downside with the Alien franchise is it's kind of like the Gorn and the Romulans. The less you know about them, the scarier they are. So
I agree.
once you know their origin and you know that they evolve, they become less and less scary. And especially the more and more screen time they get, they're less and less scary. I'm really hoping with the Amazon show that it goes back to a single stalker. I haven't seen Romulus yet. I'm too much of a scaredy cat to see it in theaters, so I'm waiting for it to come out on whatever streaming platform, but it probably won't come to streaming until like December. But I'm excited. I know you know Dan from work. He's a big Alien fan. He said Romulus was pretty okay, and it did a good job of tying the first 4 movies to Prometheus and Covenant, or at least
Here's
a
what I
okay
heard
job.
about Romulus. I heard from a lot of people and from sources that I trust that like the first 2/3 of the movie are excellent. The last third of the movie is schlock, and yeah, I can see that from the trailers that's what was going on. But I wanted to establish some of these comments here Master Video Studios, you say you hate both cuts of Alien 3. Fucking hot take, but Alien 3 is subjectively my favorite one of the bunch. Because it's my kind of movie. Objectively, fuck no. It's not the best one. That can either go to Alien or Aliens. But subjectively, like in terms of what type of films I like, it's Alien 3. I think I'm the only guy on the planet, though, that that has that opinion.
No, Dan actually said that he really likes the third one too. He says that the first one is still his favorite, but he said his second, I believe, if I remember correctly, was 3. I'm torn between 1 and 2. I'm just amazed that they went from stalker horror,
Mm-hmm.
made it a hit, and then said, "Yeah, watch us completely change genres, turn it into an action movie, and still make it good."
It was
with
James
Aliens
Cameron.
2.
It was James
Bravo.
Cameron. You say anything about James Cameron, he was good at making an action movie. You see, it's interesting here. You say Geek Defense Initiative. I'm not sure who you are. I'm not sure if I know you in person or not. But whatever. Sin City is the only time the theatrical cut is better than the extended. I have another example. I don't know if you've seen this film or not, and I know you guys haven't, but The Exorcist 3, which is a masterpiece. The Exorcist 3, the theatrical cut of the movie, which is the one with all the studio meddling, is better than the director's cut, quote unquote. Because unfortunately, we don't really have a director's cut for that movie. What we have is a rough print of the movie that is VHS quality because that's all we have of it. And the studio did not like what the director, who wrote the first Exorcist film and the book, he was making basically a movie that had no Exorcist in it, but the studio wanted an Exorcist movie. His film was actually called Legion. It was actually far more of a psychological horror film than anything else. But the studio said, no, we need an exorcism. We're banking this, so it got renamed to The Exorcist 3 Legion. And that VHS copy of the movie is actually available on the Shout Factory Blu-ray. And I watched it, and it's a vastly different movie. Different takes, different cuts, different atmosphere, different pacing. And I gotta tell you, some of the creative decisions that were made in the theatrical cut, of including The Exorcist, and making the main villain kind of shift forms throughout it, makes it super creepy. And the guy who does the voice of Chucky, he plays the main villain, quote unquote, and he gives a bone-chilling performance that isn't there in the extended cut or the director's cut. So I have to disagree with you. There's a few cases where I think the theatrical cuts are better than the extended cuts. I think Amadeus, if you want to go for non-horror. The extended cut to Amadeus isn't as good as the theatrical cut, just because of pacing. That's all. How are you guys doing?
I'm chilling.
Good.
I'm chilling, listening to you guys vamp about Alien.
I love how I'm talking like I'm an expert in Alien. I'm not. I just know the first 3 movies. Essentially, that's really it.
No more than me.
I highly recommend them. I really want to watch The Omen with Gregory Peck. The one about he adopts a child, and that child is the son of Satan. And it has
when that happens.
one of the greatest soundtracks ever in that film.
I had to look up the name of the movie because I can't remember it. Adam, have you watched The Devil and Father Amorth?
No.
So this is a movie that came out in 2018. And speaking of The Exorcist, I don't like scary movies really, but the director of The Exorcist went to like Italy and saw a real life exorcist, and he made a movie about it where the priest was like performing the exorcism, and it's awful. I highly recommend that you watch it.
Oh, so it's like a so bad it's good thing.
Oh yeah. It's called what was it called? the devil and Father Amorth, it's like he's like trying to make it be this like found footage thing, and he's like trying to make it so I'm not editing anything or whatever, but then like clearly edits like sound effects into it. And like one of the funniest parts is when like the woman is like having the devil come out of her.
Yeah.
He puts like auto tuning on her and she sounds like a zombie from Call of Duty. It's
Yes,
amazing.
I actually think I know what movie you're talking about now. Yeah, I've seen
It's
clips of it.
hilarious.
So, of course, Lucas, you would know The Omen, and of course you would think The Omen is a great movie because it is a fantastic movie. It's that The Omen is another example of a film that isn't necessarily in your face scary. It's just so beautifully atmospheric. I don't know, Antonio, you watched with Steve, um, maybe Brandon, but we watched Halloween, the John Carpenter film.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's another example of a film that isn't necessarily in your face scary, but unbelievably creepy.
Yeah, because literally they make it clear throughout that movie that like you're like looking in the corners of that movie to see if Michael's about to fucking pop out, because he could just literally be anywhere, because he's literally just, as Sam Loomis throughout the movie just like describes him, he's just a force of nature that just appears and then just kills you.
He's
and
not
there's
even
nothing you could do.
He's referred to in the script as the Shape. It's not even really
Yes,
Michael
that's
Myers.
right.
And like that's even, to me, that alone is a creepy title for someone. It's just the Shape.
The Shape.
Yeah. And we should really watch the second one, Halloween 2, because it's not as good as the original at all. It's inferior in several ways, but it's a wonderful continuation of the story. Like, it's not a rehash or anything of the first film, like a quickie sequel. It continues the story, and it's pretty good. It takes place on the same night, actually.
Yeah, it literally picks up where like the first movie leaves off.
Yeah,
like,
literally
actually.
where that leaves off. And you know what? I think I won't lie. I think a lot of the reason why I think Halloween works, and a lot of the reason why I think The Omen works as well, is because of how great the soundtrack is. It's like the soundtrack is that thing that just ties the film together and makes it a truly unnerving, kind of creepy experience. And that's what I like in my movies. Is I like that's why I like The Fog so much.
Another horror movie recommendation that I can give, because I just remembered about these movies. The Boy, if you've ever seen that movie.
I've seen The Boys.
No, not The Boys with Homelander. No, not that.
What about Man Boy or Boy Man?
That's my name. The Boy is a movie where, so essentially the premise, you'll probably remember what I'm talking about once I describe it, is this lady gets hired to be a babysitter for this rich couple. But then when she arrives at their mansion, the child that they're watching is a doll.
Oh yeah, that
that
movie.
I've seen that.
I haven't seen it. I
haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, that movie is so good. I don't want to like give away like the big twist of the movie, but that movie is so good at like making the viewer just feel like crazy. Like, it's like, which is it? Is the doll moving, or is everybody just nuts?
Well, it's a good movie that I'm taking it. What you're meaning by that is it's just a good movie of making you wonder: are you nuts, or is everybody else nuts?
Yeah, literally.
Rosemary's Baby does that very well.
And then the answer to that question is like even creepier than what you were thinking was happening.
I think I know the twist, and I think it's because Red Letter Media did a video on it.
Probably. And then if you want to watch a movie that does such a good job at ruining the first movie, watch The Boy 2.
Oh, I was gonna say the Blair Witch Project.
Well, that too, but The Boy 2 literally ruins everything that the first movie did, to the point where I'm like, the second movie doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist? Yeah.
I just have better mental health thinking that movie was never made. That was just a fever dream I had.
So, Geek Defense Initiative, you say, sometimes I watch Death of Stalin, which is a comedy, guys, and pretend it's a horror movie. It works surprisingly well. Yeah, it would. The movie is so amazing.
If I can,
You can
if I
watch
can
Doctor
comment
Strangelove it
too
like that.
on
Well, that's
Martin's
interesting that you
comment.
say that, Antonio, because there's a movie actually that is Doctor Strangelove, but it's a serious version of Doctor Strangelove, and it's called Failsafe, and it was made at the same exact time Doctor Strangelove was made, and they just happened to go into production at the same time, and Stanley Kubrick sued that movie so that way his film could come out first, resulting in Failsafe, despite it being a superior movie, bombing.
Yeah, I get
Because
it.
nobody could take it serious. Because of how ridiculous Doctor Strangelove was. Highly recommend Failsafe. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh my god, yeah, I've heard nothing but shit about Joker 2.
Hey, guess what? Guess who has tickets to see it on Tuesday?
You gotta tell me what you think. Have you seen the first one? I take it you've seen the first one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I've seen
just
the first one.
essentially it's a good remake of Taxi Driver, essentially.
It was interesting. I want to respond to Martin's comment about the Alien Isolation game.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it, but I do have a funny story with that. So I don't know if anybody that's watching knows what a 48-hour film festival is. I what was it? It was Turnaround. No, not Turnaround. What was the first one that we did? I know I was in it,
That
and it
was
was the
the
key.
72-hour film festival, and it was called the Dog Collar.
So yeah, that when that came out, when that game came out, that was like the big craze. And I
Yeah,
remember we all stayed over at what's his face's name,
Mike Favona.
Mike's house, and Jake was playing that game. And now this was before I watched the Alien movies, and he was playing that game, and I was terrified, and
It's
I
a great
could
game.
not go to sleep. I know it's a great now, almost 10 years later, I appreciate the crap out of it, but at the time, I was terrified of it. And so it's a 72-hour film festival. I'm not sleeping, and he plays this on the second night. And so now I'm basically like hallucinating that there's an alien like crawling through the vents in this house that I've never been in before, and terrified of it. And my wife to this day knows that I'm terrified of that game. However, my way to get over it, and I highly recommend, since you're talking about streamers, watch the speed runs of Alien Isolation. They are insane. You can do like clipping through walls, clipping through ceilings. They can like, oh, and by the way, fun fact, the speedrunners for Alien Isolation, they call the xenomorph Steve. So they're just
Yes,
like, hi
yeah.
Steve. and and they have this thing called psycho running, so like they can run in any area and never attract Steve to you. Insane what they can do with the speed running. So I highly recommend keeping watching people play it, or streamers play it, because it absolutely deserves all of the praise that it gets.
See, I had that with the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. The first Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Hey,
The moment I discovered that there was a pattern, the game no longer scared me.
You see, though,
right.
that's what I think, and I think I've said this in a video once before, but I think that's the genius of Five Nights at Freddy's, is that when you first play Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a horror game, and you
Mm-hmm.
get scared by the jump scares and
Mm-hmm.
what have you. But then once you figure out the strategy, it just becomes a fun arcade game.
I thought it was very tedious once I figured out the pattern.
Well, that's just your opinion. No. I will say
That all
the
being
first Five
said,
Nights
that
at
all being
Freddy's is
said,
slow.
it sounds like I just don't like the game. I don't. I love the first game. I fucking love the first game. It's just I can't really play it anymore because I now know the pattern.
Yeah, well, also it's, for me, like now that the newer entries of Five Nights at Freddy's have come out, and they've kind of gotten refined over the years for better or
Mhm.
for worse for some of them. The first game is just really slow.
It is slow.
Like you play the first.
Yeah, Lucas,
What did
sure.
Lucas?
Sure.
The heck is
Lucas Five Nights
AA?
at
What the heck?
Freddy's.
What the heck is AA? Five Nights at Freddy's.
I don't know what is that? What's a 5 by 5? 5?
I can appreciate the simplicity of the first one before it like totally
Mhm.
grew into this massive, huge world that, is so much. I appreciate the simplicity and the lore of the first one.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree. I agree, Jenny. That's why I like it so much. It's just how simple it is. It's so simple and it
Because
works. Simple
yeah,
works.
it's so hard to follow the lore now, where it's like
Yes.
it's fun watching all the YouTubers like, theorize and go crazy and make lore videos about every single piece of media out of the game and the books and the whatever. But I like the simplicity of the first one.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
first three,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah, one of the big complaints I have about Five Nights at Freddy's as a series, that if you really want to get a idea of like everything that's going on with the game, you have to play all 11, I think now, games. You have to play or you have to read about like 20 something books. You have to play with the survival logbook, which was literally just meant to be an activity book for children, but no, there's big lore dumps in there.
Isn't that where we got the Afton name? Or
So
someone's name?
so yeah, the survival logbook revealed the name of the angry spirit, which is Cassidy. And
Yeah.
just recently, uh, at least I believe so, they finally solved the puzzle of the name of what people think is the crying child from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, where they think his name is Dave now.
Interesting.
Was that the bite of
I
80?
thought he had a name already.
That is the bite of 83.
Give
Is
it
the
about
cry.
Yeah,
50
and then
seconds and Lucas will confirm.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Me and Lucas
we
are
need
like,
to call
we
in
know.
a guest.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm actually terrified right now because of something that Antonio just said.
I
And it
swear
is-
to God, if you correct my fucking
And it
grammar,
is. And it is absolutely
I can't
the most.
believe you. I'm leaving.
That's the scariest
I
thing
will
in the
hang
night.
up, and then you'll have to reorient everything.
No, I'll just
I'll
put Castro's giant penis in the box where
Just
Antonio
like
was.
with Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs, the one frame of
You
the
just
penis.
replaced me with a representation of what I am, a huge dick.
Right off the cuff, that was good.
There's something that happens in the Oreo episode of Fat Man Little Boy. Spoiler alerts, guys. We've shot season 3 of Fat Man Little Boy, and I'm currently in the process of editing it. But there's one where I was getting the answer correct every single time, and Antonio was so convinced that he was going to stump me with this one, and I got it, and Antonio just slumps and goes, "Get fucked." and I'm like, it's fucking good.
I'm so excited to watch these episodes because I think it's like the first batch that I wasn't there for filming, so I'm so excited to watch them.
And I'm
outside
very
point of
excited.
view.
I'm very excited for next season because I really want to bring you and Jim back on it to kind of bring back the amigos, bring back the original crew, because I won't lie, as much as I love John, it something did feel like it was missing in this season because you two weren't there.
There was no Trinity.
Yeah, there was no Trinity, and there was
no
no
Trinity
Jim.
to be like, ew.
For me to go, maybe this isn't a good idea, and you guys go, fuck it.
So
You're
yeah,
like-
like the moment
And
the
then
moment
we're like, yeah, combine it all.
the moment where Antonio and I start sucking on duck feet, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Adam. Even this goes for like every episode. Literally, as soon as we're done filming them, I forget what I said, did.
Yeah.
Everything is out of my brain.
Uh,
So when I watch the
I
episode,
wish
it's
I
all
had
new
that.
to me.
I wish I had that, Antonio. The editor in me never forgets.
That's fair.
The editor in me just never forgets.
I will never forget the one chip, though, as much as I would like to.
Oh, that
Can't forget
documentary
that.
was so fun to make.
That episode hasn't aired. The
Yeah, no,
one
that
chip
hasn't come
that has
out.
not aired. I don't see why I
That-
couldn't air it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the lost episode of Fat Man Little Boy right now.
It is. It
Even though
really
it's
is.
not
The
lost, it's just not
documentary.
published.
Actually, no.
Oh,
There's
is it?
3 episodes that are lost.
Oh yeah, there were a
There's
couple that
3
were unreleased.
What
There's a
one?
couple of episodes that are lost that just haven't been edited.
There was the
um,
milkshake one, right?
The milkshake one that never saw the light of day. The
Yeah.
Asian chips never saw the light of day.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too.
And then the one chip never saw the light of day, even though the one chip kind of evolved into something else. Yeah.
Jinx.
Um.
I know why it wasn't posted. Because after we filmed it and we took it so seriously, we started festivaling it around. And we couldn't post it online because that's what all the festivals say. And then I guess we forgot. Or, well, I didn't forget.
Did we actually submit it to film festivals? That's hysterical.
Me
I guess
talking
he
about
didn't-
how
he
I
didn't want
shat
anyone knowing.
liquid at film festivals, awesome.
I knew we were like joking around, like we should submit this to film festivals. I didn't know it actually got submitted. That's hysterical. It didn't get chosen. Did it get chosen already?
I don't think so.
Take
Oh,
that
so
as
it's safe to post. Huh?
Save to post.
It was fun to
Save
film,
to
though.
post. Oh, it was great. Well, I
It's-
couldn't
it's
say the
one of the
entire
most
process was
serious
fun to film.
things. One of the most
The
serious
documentary.
things that I ever filmed. Yeah, the documentary. And
Yeah.
it's about this shit challenge that was so stupid. Meanwhile, my cinematography, I was so proud of it. You know, this is a couple of years ago, but I was so proud of it. And then Lucas had the second camera. It was one of those semi-rare, you know, we had 2 cameras, lighting for both of them, but it's also like interview style, like straight out of 60 Minutes. I loved it.
Oh man. Is Adam just like, does he have like a GIF on right now where he just goes like this? Like he actually like walked away 20 minutes ago and he's just like hitting buttons every so often.
It's just a video loop of him like idle animations.
What's that trend? The NPC streams.
Gang gang.
So he's
gang,
you know
gang.
people are just commenting.
Ice cream's so good.
Thanks for the roses. Thanks for the roses.
I think Adam's broken.
Oh wait, no, I heard my name. I can talk. Okay. Yeah, I can talk. Jim, you jinxed me.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, you said
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Antonio and I said something at the same time. Jim said jinx.
Let the rule the jinx is until you hear your name. That's
Until I hear my name, yeah. I want to say something about the one chip challenge. We survived. Someone fucking died.
Yeah, that's true. They recalled it because someone died.
Somebody fucking died. Antonio, we thought we were bitches. We fucking survived.
We sure fucking did.
We that's horrible, Adam.
It reminds me of that scene from The
I was gonna say
Incredibles.
it.
Someone
after they crash
actually.
into the
I'm
ocean.
sorry. What were you saying, Jenny? I'm sorry.
It reminds me of the scene in The Incredibles where they crash into the ocean and it's Dash going, "We lived, we survived, but we're dead, but we survived."
Oh yes, yes. We're dead.
We survived, but we're dead.
I still would love to do. I don't know how we can incorporate food into this. I would still love to do Fat Man Little Boy Goes Ghost Hunting.
We just so we go ghost hunting, and then in the middle of the ghost hunt, we set out like a blanket and like a little picnic
like
basket.
a picnic, and we film
You
an
have a
episode of
picnic
Fat
for the
Man Little Boy.
ghosts.
Ghost
trying to
picnic.
present it
For
to
the
the
ghosts.
ghosts.
Yeah.
It'd be
Oh
nice.
yeah, that's what.
It's an
yeah.
offering.
Yeah, an
It's an
offering.
offering.
It's an offering, yeah.
To appease spirits.
This is
But,
a wonderful idea.
usually
Nothing
you
could go
guys
wrong.
Don't have good things, but ghosts like bad things. So
Or
do like
well,
bad
I don't know
things.
about that.
I want to go legitimate ghost hunting so bad. Like I would be on that shoot so quickly.
I've done that.
We should go to Gettysburg.
I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
We should go to Gettysburg. Speaking of ghosts, Jenny, we did an episode of our short-lived podcast. What are we talking about? where I believe you chose a topic of ghosts and psychics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, this is like 2 years ago now, so if you don't remember, I don't blame you.
No, I don't remember that because that's a topic that really interests me.
I was gonna ask.
That's what I like about. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead, Jenny. Go ahead.
'Cause that's what I like about Halloween more so than like the horror movies and the gore movies. Like I like the spooky stuff, I guess, like real ghost hunting, like Salem, Massachusetts, like that stuff really interests me. And I guess more the suspense stuff. Like I don't watch horror movies. I saw someone mentioned in the chat earlier. I was gonna say my favorite like Halloween movie is Coraline, and I wouldn't call it like horror. I guess more like suspense and thriller. I know it's like family friendly, I guess, but I think it's like traumatizing for a 10-year-old.
I think a movie can be family friendly and still be a terrifying movie. I don't
I
know.
mean, she threatens to sew buttons into your eyes, like
Yeah.
That's why I could never watch it. I'm like that kind of horror freaks me out too much, and I like body horror. I can't do. And so sewing the eyes, as soon as I saw like one snippet of that on YouTube or whatever, I was like, nope, I can't watch this movie.
Martin in chat, yes, I watch Coraline pretty much every year. Last year they re-released it in theaters. They did a 4K restoration, and I went and saw it in theaters. Because I never saw it in theaters as a kid, and so when they re-released it in 4K, I had to go see it in theaters. So I think I got like the last 2 tickets in my showing. Like it was packed, which was crazy. It was so nice to see the Coraline love. Nope, that's not me.
Oh my god.
But yes, Coraline is definitely like one of my favorites. I think the movie is just really well done all around.
It's a pretty movie.
It is really good.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, have you guys seen the animated Pinocchio movie that Guillermo del Toro headed?
No, I've only
not
seen.
gotten a chance to see it.
Excellent.
I've only seen the Pauly Shore one.
Oh my god. But yeah, I highly recommend the Del Toro one. It's really good. It's very good.
I do have to get around to seeing that.
It has in my opinion some of the same energy as Coraline. But it's Del Toro, and Del Toro has that style, as that macabre style and everything. Even fucking Pacific Rim, which is like one of the dumbest, most awesome movies of all time, has that macabre visual style to it. Yeah. But
you know what spooky thing?
No.
Who's talking?
Go ahead, Antonio.
I was gonna say a spooky thing that just came out that I actually have to watch episode 2 of it later. Finally, after like 6 years of waiting for this fucking show to come out, the Uzumaki show finally came out.
Oh shit, I forgot all about that. You're right, Antonio. I gotta see it.
I watched the first episode when it came out last week, and let me tell you, not only does it do Junji Ito justice, it made me cringe when I watched it.
In a good way.
Like in horror.
Yeah.
Because like
that Uzumaki is so fucking good.
It is one of the greatest horror stories based off of one of the dumbest ideas. But that was the point.
Jenny and Jim, do you guys know the premise of Uzumaki?
No.
Okay, so essentially the premise of Uzumaki is this town, it's like a rural town, begins to be like spirals everywhere, like the shape. And it starts to like haunt this town in a sense. I know it sounds weird to have a shape haunt a town, but it's like people get obsessed with the shape to the point where they like kill themselves for it. It appears like on their body. Things that are in spiral shapes will start to grow on people. It's just like, in what sense can I incorporate spirals into these horrifying concepts? Like, for example,
the town itself starts turning into a spiral. Towards the end, it's so
It's weird.
It's so good.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
Like to give a kind of example, kind of like as an early on thing that happens. So the main character, her boyfriend, his father starts to get obsessed with spirals, and this is kind of like the beginning of this spiral craziness that keeps going on. And he gets obsessed with it to the point where he literally buys like this wooden circular container. And what he does is he literally wraps himself into the container and turns himself into a spiral, and you see it, and it's fucking horrifying. Like, it's body horror. And literally because of that, he dies, because in the process of becoming a spiral, he literally broke every bone in his body.
It's body horror for sure, and I mean,
Oh
Martin
my God.
Cosplay Smith, you've already mentioned in the chat. So you've never watched The Thing or anything David Cronenberg. I fucking love David Cronenberg. David Cronenberg is the king of body horror. He directed The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, which is to me like the ultimate body horror movie. But he also made a movie, a really interesting movie called Crash, and not the one that we watched in film school. This movie, this version of Crash is essentially it's about these people. One is like a film producer, and they're just regular people, but they all discover that the adrenaline rush that they get from crashing cars turns them the fuck on. It is an NC-17 movie. I would love to make movies like this, Jenny. I'm not. I would love to make movies like this. But,
Jenny, run.
The premise of that is essentially they would crash the cars, fuck, crash the cars, fuck, and I mean it shows everything. Right? It's not hardcore. It's not hardcore, but it's definitely right up there, you know? And James Spader's in it. And Holly Hunter is the other one. And
Dance. I was gonna say, to answer Martin's question real quick. He said, "I have been reading Junji Ito recently. Is the Uzumaki anime decent?"
let me.
What?
I need to.
What?
Let me finish this.
Oh, okay. I thought you were done.
The body horror that comes out of Crash comes from, as the film progresses, their bodies get more and more and more mangled by the crashes that they're in. To the point that the ending of the movie, the two main characters get in a horrific crash. Their legs are broken, their arms are broken, they're bloody as all hell, and they're fucking on the grass.
That's wild.
I love that movie.
I love Jim's face. Just no.
I love that movie. Anyways, Junji Ito.
Jim 10 minutes ago says, "Oh, I don't like body horror." Adam and Antonio for the next 10 minutes. Let's talk about body horror.
Let's talk about body horror.
Hey,
We gotta
hey,
push you
listen,
out of your
man.
comfort zone.
Listen, man. I love body horror. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
it's fine. It's fine.
to answer the question, is the Uzumaki anime decent? As I said before, it does it justice and then some.
Antonio, would you call eggs body horror? Or
No.
eggs will never leave you body horror?
No, I don't think so. that is like that's like a French art film. Something you would see out of
But what about
like
Man
Godard.
Baby?
Man Baby is body
that?
horror. That is
Man Baby borders more on body horror. I don't know if I'm ever gonna release that. I don't know if I can put that on YouTube.
well, if that's body horror, then we can definitely include Acipatoifabum on that on that list.
You're just gonna do like the body horror ANP collection.
I'm okay with this.
That's a new DVD.
I'm okay with this.
Oh man.
What brought this conversation on was I wanted to, because this is the season of the spook, and why I sort of mentioned Jenny. Jenny, you kind of believe in the ghosts and the psychic and stuff like that. What I wanted to do here is all of us kind of talking and chatting. Have you had any strange experiences where something weird happened and you just can't quite explain what it was?
Oh yeah.
Because in full disclosure, I don't really know if I believe in ghosts or not. But I've had some weird shit happen that makes me go, huh? That's freaky. And I just wanted to pass it all on to you guys. Could you list creepy things that have happened to you that you just can't quite explain? And I know, Jenny, I think you had one for when we were doing that podcast.
It wasn't so much like ghosts, probably more just spirits, because it was a lot of like it had to do with a psychic that got some really detailed stuff. Like I don't know how he would have gotten some of this like details. He we were doing like a group reading, so it was me, my mom, some family friends, and other people. And he was going around the table, and finally he got to like me, and he's like, "Oh, someone with the name starting with L wants to speak." And I was like, "Oh, my grandma Laura. She passed recently-ish at that point." Um, and he was giving some basic like, "Your grandma wants to know she loves you," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay. I didn't pay you $200 to tell me grandma loves me. I know that." But we got a little further into it, and he started telling me that grandma wanted to tell you about the stained glass in her house. And I was like, well, grandma didn't have stained glass in her house, so you're false. Like, that's just not right. And I was like, okay. So I was like, not really buying it. Like, it was a couple other things were coming up. And then finally he's like, okay, she's moved on, or like she's no longer here. And I was like, okay. But then he turns back to me and goes, well, actually, one more thing. What what does Beauty and the Beast have to do with your and her relationship? And I was like, whoa, like, okay, I'm a big Disney fan. I purposely didn't wear a Disney shirt. Like, I wore a very plain shirt, so he had nothing to go off of. But Beauty and the Beast was the first Broadway show I saw with my grandmother. And we saw a lot of Broadway shows together. It was something we bonded over. So, like, how he got Beauty and the Beast, I don't know, but that was like a home run. And then later when my dad picked me up, and it was my dad's mother, I said, yeah, and he said something about stained glass in the house. Like he specifically said in the house. And I was like, grandma didn't have stained glass windows. And he goes, no, there's stained glass in the house. We boarded it up, so it's in between two walls. You never saw it because it was before you were born, but there's stained glass in the house. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it all started to click and make more sense. So I don't know, like I just there's certain like how do you get Beauty and the Beast? Like that's not a random thing to like that's so random to me that it just kind of I believe it.
So yeah, I was gonna say that's what kind of turned you into
Yeah, that was really like
a
the first
healthy
thing I was like,
believer in the stuff.
yeah, I
Because
think there's people out there that are, making shit up and want to just make money off the poor people that are desperate to talk to loved ones. But I think there's people out there who genuinely have a gift, the gift.
so have you ever had an experience that you could say, I think I just ran into a ghost?
I don't know if it was like, I don't, I want to use the word physical, but obviously that wouldn't be the right word. But like, I don't know if a ghost has ever been in my apartment. I believe more in like signs from the other side.
Oh
So
yes,
like,
yes.
So like the last thing my dad did with my grandmother, his mother, right before she died was they went to go see Queen in concert. And so now, and I get it, Queen is a very popular rock band. So if I put on the rock channel, or on a radio station, you're probably going to hear Queen. But, when I was booking my wedding venue with my fiance at the time, and we were talking about, we were like literally sitting in the venue's office booking it, and we were saying like, oh, we just wish our loved ones could be here, you know, it'd be so nice. And then the next song to come on was a Queen song. I don't know. Yes, it's probably, you know, the odds are very good that I would get a Queen song on the top rock hit station or whatever they were playing. But to me, it was a sign. And I took it like that. And, you know, it seems like whenever I need to hear a Queen song, it comes on. Whenever I'm doing something big in my life, a Queen song comes on. So it's just stuff like that. I believe more. Um, no, it's not when Freddie Mercury was still alive,
No, no, no,
unfortunately. It was
no.
when Adam Lambert was
Adam Lambert,
taking over as
yeah.
the front man, who does an amazing job.
He is.
But
He's fantastic.
yes, Queen with Adam Lambert. I will put the little asterisks. Um, um, but yeah, so I believe more in like signs than like the like typical spooky ghost with a bed sheet coming into your bedroom kind of thing.
Right, right. Because I sort of I brought this up because I had, and I believe you've all heard me talk about this now. But I had that experience when I was working for Broadfield Distributing, where I was in that studio. And I guess it's
Yeah.
no longer
I
there.
know where this is going.
That, to this day, freaks me out. Like, I'm getting chills thinking about it. But, you know, like, you're in there all the time. I was in there all the time because, you know, it was the studio, right? And we had a computer in there and everything. I would do my editing. I would do my work in that studio because we had a social distance. Oliver and Jenny would usually be in the actual office. I would be in the studio doing whatever, doing evals, doing, you know, checking things, whatever. Every once in a while, something crazy would kind of happen in there. My first, like, one of my, I don't want to say it was my first week there, but I will say it was definitely within the first month I was there at Broadfield, and I worked there for almost 3 years. I opened the door to leave the studio, and I swear to God, something didn't just run into me, it ran through me. Like, I opened the door, and it just ran through me. And I remember Sally was like, "Are you okay, Adam?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." But every once in a while, you know, I would be in there, and I'd be working, and suddenly I'd feel like something touched my shoulder, something brushed my head, something along those lines. But it all accumulated towards the end. Oliver was in the process of leaving, actually, and or our friend Oliver from Go Ape, he was in the process of leaving. That's actually how we met, was through Broadfield. And I'm sitting there editing, and what I did was I brought my earbuds and I kind of draped them over the C stand. Well, not the C stand itself. The knob that controls the height of the C stand is what I draped it over. And I saw those headphones. They didn't just slide down. They lifted up and then dropped down. And I got up and I said, "Nope." and I went to the office and I sat down in the office for a while. I didn't tell you guys what happened. Because at this point I was still kind of like, I think I'm kind of crazy. You know? Yeah. And I thought I was kind of crazy until I was in there one day working. We're setting up for a live stream. And Oliver, I swear to God, he jumped like 10 feet in the air. Like, he was like, "What?" Like, something happened. And he was, like, looking all around. And I'm like, "What the fuck was that? Are you all right, Oliver?" And he's like, "Something just touched my hip." And, like, he's looking around to see if anything could have touched him or, like, touched his hip in any way. Nothing's there. And at that moment, I went, "Oh, it happened to somebody else."
Yeah.
Like as
I'm not
awful
crazy.
as that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy. It finally happened to somebody else, and we came up with the story that we came up with a backstory for the ghost, that he's a gay ghost, even though we have no idea what type of thing he was. We came up with this whole elaborate backstory for the ghost, but that was a fucking creepy experience. But one of the things that I wanted to why I that's sort of a classic story for me, and I have told that story on this channel a few times. But you guys know, and I've posted about it recently. It's bear season, black bear season, and I've been bear hunting, and I got my bear. I was on a property that my grandfather used to own. My grandfather's now been dead, I think, since 2018 or 2019. And the guy who currently owns that land, I got in a spat with. And it got pretty heated. And needless to say, I hadn't stepped foot on that property for like 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years, no, it was like 2 years, I think. And well, this year we worked it out. We finally kind of sat down, we worked it out, we worked out our differences, and we apologized to one another. You know, we acted like men. And we worked it out. And I was like, I'd like to go bear hunting on the property. He's like, absolutely. You know, and I asked, you know, where can I go? Where can I go? What do you need me to do? What blah 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 blah. And the first day I went bear hunting, I saw nothing. I saw jack fucking shit. It was the first day of bear season. So it's getting around noon time. I get up and I follow a bear trail. I'm like, this is clearly a bear trail. There's bear shit there. A bear has gone through here. I'm going to follow it. And I'm walking throughout the woods, kind of finding the trail, seeing where it went, seeing where it laid down, then keep going. Because I know the area back there very well. There's no way I can get lost. And I reach this old trail. And all of a sudden, I feel like something grabbed my shoulder. Now, I didn't think anything of that. Because you're walking in the woods. I'm wearing kind of loose clothing, the camouflage clothing. You could easily get it caught on a branch. It wasn't like it was a cleared out area. It was pretty thick through there. You know, something could have pulled on it. Didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until I took about 2 steps forward and I smelled very specifically Camel unfiltered cigarettes.
Oh.
And I stopped and I looked around, and that was the brand of cigarette my grandfather smoked. It was a very distinct smell. Not a good smell. But that's the cigarette that he smoked. And the guy who owns the property now, he smokes too, but he smokes American Spirit cigarettes. They have a completely different smell. I hate that I know this. But they have a completely different smell. And these were very specifically the brand of cigarettes that my grandfather smoked. And it was an interesting experience because I was sitting there and I was like, if it was Grampy, fitting that he would choose to sort of manifest himself when the rift in the family got repaired. And that was the first time I'd actually been on that property in about 2 years. When I used to be on that property every day. Just about every day. And I didn't really tell anyone about this, but I got talking to my dad, and I mentioned it to my dad, and he laughed. And at first I was like, oh, Jesus, fuck, here he goes. He's going to fucking laugh at me and call me retarded or some horse shit. And he goes, no, because every once in a while I'll be driving in the truck and I'll get that same smell. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Just an interesting experience, almost on the opposite end of the spectrum of the gay ghost from Broadfield.
It's not just a ghost. It's a gay ghost.
It's a gay
Sorry.
ghost. But it was just an interesting experience, and that happened this year. That happened like less than a month ago. And I was like, wow, I probably could tell that on this live stream since it's spooky season. And with that being said,
Is it okay.
No, go ahead, Jenny.
I was gonna ask, is it like turning you into like a believer a little bit more now?
Yeah, in some ways, it is. See, the thing that I find sort of fascinating about ghosts is that I really want to believe them. It's like Bigfoot, actually. It's like I really want to believe Bigfoot exists, but I can't really say that yet. You know, I have that kind of with ghosts. But just having those two experiences, it really does sort of change your perspective on things. Now, Antonio and Jim, I've rambled on enough. Have you guys had any experiences like that? Were they were they scary, or were they kind of just interesting? Like, have you guys had any of those experiences?
So a lot of the experiences that I had that can be ghost-like, I feel like can be explained away. But this one was certainly strange, where I was driving home. I forgot who was driving or where we were coming from, but I was driving home with a bunch of my friends from high school, and we were like on some like lone road or whatever.
Swamp ass
And
road.
yeah, swamp ass road. And we all got swamp ass at the same time. Isn't that spook nuts?
It was absolutely terrifying. We're still gonna make that movie, Antonio. We're gonna make it a feature fucking movie.
I'm ready. But anyway, so we're driving home. It's like dark out. It's nighttime. And then all of a sudden, a guy on his bike appears, like right in front of us. And what essentially, like, it literally looked like he was about to ram our car. And I think Juan was driving. He went to move out of the way, but it still, like, hit the car, except it didn't. As soon as it made contact with the car, it was gone. Now, that's something that could be like, oh, maybe it was like a trick of the eyes or whatever. But I saw it too. And everyone else in the car saw the person on the bike. Everyone in the car saw it and was equally as confused when that bike and the guy just vanished.
And where was this, Antonio? Was this on Long Island, or was this on like one of your road trips?
This was on Long Island.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
When was this?
Yeah, oh man, this was probably like maybe like 2015, 2016.
Okay. I think you've told me about this story.
Yes, I probably have. Because it's just so strange, because it's just like everybody saw this. So it's not like only one of us were like, oh my God, what was that?
Well, was that like relieving for you, or did that just make it freakier?
In one sense, it's like, it's relieving because it's like, okay, so it's not just me. But in a second sense, it's like, okay, but then what was that?
Right.
Right. We all validated that it was there. What was that? Like,
what was that? Where was that? And I think if I remember right, and this part of the story I'm a little skeptical on. One of our friends, who is no longer our friend anymore, he looked up the area and found out that there was someone on their bike that got hit by a car and died there. But he is also known for exaggerating and making shit up. So,
well, I can also say this, just knowing Long Island and knowing that cyclists are awful pieces of shit. People get hit by while riding bicycles all the time. So he could very well have been telling the truth. If there's ever something where I could be like, I could believe that, it would be something like this.
Yeah, that's pretty statistically true, because I, on Long Island, while riding a bicycle, was hit.
So you're one of those assholes?
You just see Jim disappear.
No, the person ran a red light.
Okay. Okay.
What did
Jim
you
just
say, Antonio?
disappears. I was like, Jim just disappears. He's been a ghost this whole time.
Oh my God! Remember that episode
Plot twist.
from Video Guys where the like camera input froze and I just disappeared?
Is that
Oh
when
my
the
God.
TriCaster just shut down on me? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But that was so funny when we watched it
Jenny, come
afterwards.
switch
And
your show. You haven't switched your show in a couple months. What could go wrong? The TriCaster shuts down in the middle of production.
What could go
That's
wrong? It
literally
turns out
just-
literally,
that was
Take
so
me out of the
funny.
session.
literally everything went
Literally.
wrong.
Yeah, everything went wrong.
Oh man, that's fucking hysterical. I'm sorry, Jenny.
yeah,
I
they were like,
love
"Jenny,
your pain
switch
is
your
making me making me laugh. That's actually a really good one because there's a lot of ghost stories I've heard of, like people on highways or like driving down streets. Suddenly they'll see like someone on a bike or like almost like a mist walked in front of you. I have one that I don't think was a ghost, but I was on my way to work, and there is an area on my way to work where there's a lot of fog that comes in because it's really close to the ocean. And it's the marshes are very hot, so the cold air and the warm ground, you get fog. And I was on my way to work, and suddenly oh, hello.
Hi, Matt.
He's been
Hi,
Matt.
Matt going potty.
Matt.
Yabba dabba doo.
I have earbuds in. He won't hear.
Come back here. Come back.
Stop shitting.
I'm driving down the road, right? The fog has come in. It's really thick. So, like, I slow the fuck down. I turn on my fog lights. And suddenly, what looked like a transparent deer bound across the road. Like, I could see through it. My lights
Whoa.
were not hitting it. They were going through it. And I was like,
Whoa.
oh, shit. So I start slowing down. The thing that freaked me out, it triggered my sensor beep, my sensor warning.
Whoa.
That's wild.
That was creepy. And I remember
Yeah.
thinking about that over the course of the night, being like, that was fucking creepy. Looking back at it, I think it was just a trick of the light. There was a lot of fog in the air, and there are deer in that area. And I think a deer just ran out in front of me, did indeed trigger the sensor on my car. But because of the fog kind of reflecting off of the light reflecting off of the fog particles, it made it look like it was shining through the deer.
That'd be cool
Creepy.
just to see, though.
Creepy
that
as
sounds
fuck.
like a really cool effect.
Yeah, it was creepy as fuck. But yeah, so like I could believe the tire.
That's gonna be your next lighting challenge, Jim, to replicate a transparent deer.
My niece is visiting and she really likes theater, and I actually have lights set up around me, and so it was nice actually being able to like explain to her what 3-point lighting is.
The best lighting is 3-point lighting. Jim.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have any experiences?
I am not nearly as good at storytelling, but yes, I have seen some interesting things, more so actually heard. And I think locations have a big part in when you see ghosts. And so for those of you that don't know, when I was in college, my summer job was actually working at a historical war zone. I can't remember the name of it.
So fucking
I'm not
cool.
a history major like Adam.
So fucking cool.
I can't remember the name of the tavern, but in Schoharie, it was a historical battle there. And so I think some of the things that I saw and heard were, potentially people that died there fighting. And nothing ever bad, but like just that their souls are still there. Nothing scary or anything like that. a specific example is now the tavern or fort was 2 stories, and both both floors had things laid out on them so people could go upstairs and downstairs because it was a museum. And we had to keep track of how many people were in the building for like a safety thing. And it's just one person in the first floor and then one person upstairs if somebody goes up there, just to make sure they don't steal anything or anything like that. So we would only both be downstairs if no one was upstairs. And I remember one time, ironically, the other guy's name is also Jimmy. I remember us just sitting, I was by the counter, he was by the stairs to go upstairs, and we both heard a set of 2 footsteps walk all the way from above me, where I was sitting at the counter, to him. And there was clearly no one downstairs, and there was no one upstairs because he was down. And that was kind of creepy. And neither of us could explain it
You're not
other
wrong.
than there's a couple walking upstairs for some reason.
You see, that's because yours was a battlefield. And I've
Yeah.
said this to you, Jim. I've said this to everyone. If there is ever anywhere on this planet that has a right to be haunted and ghosts to actually be there, it's a battlefield.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a bad thing. We genuinely like it sounded like heels and shoes. So I don't think it was a bad thing. I think it was a good memory of whatever's happening up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. It's I mean, the tall tale example, in my opinion, here in this country is Gettysburg. All the ghost hunting stuff that happens at Gettysburg. Antonio, you went on one of the ghost hunting.
I sure did.
things. I have a love-hate relationship with those. I love them in that they tend to get people who aren't into history a little bit by getting people to go to Gettysburg, to go to these fields and kind of explore a little bit. I hate it because it's so commercialized, and to me that's hollow ground. And that's where I kind of draw a line. And there have been some creepy footage taken. There's one of Confederate soldiers marching, where it was at night, and it was by the artillery, and it was in the woods where the Confederates were bombarding the Union lines on the third day, and where the Confederate infantry lined up and sort of got themselves together. I think these are specifically on the Mississippi side of the battle, where the Mississippians were forming up. They formed just behind a tree ridge. There was a tree line. There was trees and then field. And this footage, which happened at night, you clearly see these weird transparent lights that kind of look like people walking, moving in throughout the trees. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. There's also stories of distant gunfire. People hear gunfire. People will hear the phantom trumpeter as well is a story. The one civilian who got killed at the battle, people think
I was going to say that's the Jenny. Is that the Jenny Wade house?
Yes, people think that they can see her in the window sometimes, because that house is perfectly preserved. It is right there in the center of that town.
I remember watching a lot of YouTube videos on that when I was younger.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an area where I'm like, you know what? If you think you saw a ghost, I bet you might have seen something. Is at a battlefield like that. Now, Master Video Studios, you commented something interesting, because I actually want to address this in some ways. Adam, do you know which story you told that gives me goosebumps? Your supposed Bigfoot encounter you had after checking up on your dog because he was going nuts after deer season, I think it was. Yes. For full disclosure, I do not believe that was Bigfoot. anymore. And I believe even when I first was telling that story, I believe Lucas was on the stream. I didn't really. I was skeptical. But what had happened was I had shot a deer, and we had hung it up in my grandfather, because this is when my grandfather was still alive and everything. We had hung it up in his garage, and we're in the process of butchering it. Well, it was dark out, and at some point, something was setting off my dad's dog, Buddy. Now, he was a big hound dog. He was part Rhodesian Ridgeback, which they are big dogs. And because he wasn't full-blooded Rhodesian Ridgeback, the only time his ridge would really stand up is if he was ugly. Something was really pissing him off. And he was just barking and barking and barking and growling and snarling at something. And my dad, I remember him, he said, "Adam, go see what that fucking dog is barking at." And I'm like, okay. And I go out, and I happen to shine a light towards this tree where there used to be a swing set on, about 20 feet away from where I was. And there was something huge standing under that tree on two legs. Huge. And it scared me so bad, I dropped the light and I ran.
Oh my god.
Now, to address the Bigfoot thing, I do not think it was a Bigfoot. I think it was a bear. I think it was a
Still
bear.
terrifying.
Yeah.
It's still scary.
Oh fuck yeah! I can tell you. I can tell you what happened with. I can tell you what happened with this bear that I got. That was pretty fucking terrible. One of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had. But this. Why I think it was a bear was because I think what happened was a bear was smelling the deer carcass and was curious what was going on, because black bears are opportunistic eaters. If they see food, they're going to eat it.
Mhm.
And it smelled the deer because we were butchering it and everything, and meat has a rather pungent smell. It just has a very unique smell. And I believe what happened was, as I shined my light on it, in defense, it got up on its hind legs to make itself look bigger, because that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen to me several times. And what kind of confirmed that to me was when there's this one day where I was bear hunting, and I was sitting in this spot literally for about 7 hours, and I'd gotten up because legal shooting was about to end. I'm like, I have to walk a mile out of this woods. I'm just gonna fucking go now. I haven't seen anything. And the moment I stood up, less than 30 feet in front of me, a bear stood up too.
Oh.
And
Said, "Who's taller?"
it clearly had no idea I was there. I had no idea it was there. I scared the shit out of it. It scared the shit out of me. And so like it stood up and its ears went up. Like it was like,
Whoa.
whoo! So it was like, whoo! And I was like, ah! And it felt like a good 5 minutes went by of me just staring down despair, when in reality it was probably less than 5 seconds. And eventually, like, it just ran off into the distance. But having now seen that, a bear do that because it was surprised, it made me go, I guarantee you that's what I fucking saw that night.
I like to
And-
think like you saw the bear stand up, and then like you were both just standing there, and then it goes into like one of those scenes where it's like, and like you're like mirroring each other.
The Stewie and Hitler scene.
Yeah, Stewie and Hitler.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Now the thing that happened with this bear, you see, this is something that I almost find stories like this more terrifying than ghost stories and stuff like that, because it's real. You know, the real stories of like, and this kind of goes into what the second half of the stream was going to be, which was scary Reddit stories, scary true Reddit stories. Admittedly, when I shot this bear this year, I shot it with my grandfather's rifle, It was a 308, and we were shooting new ammo because the bear that I had shot 2 years ago, it was that 308, but the bullet was different. The lead point of the bullet of the one that I killed 2 years ago was like a sharp tip, which is meant to pierce. The bullet that I was using this time had kind of like a flat tip. And the flat tip, what that does is it impacts and punches, is what it'll do. I don't think I'm ever using that type of ammo again. Because I shot this bear, and I got a good shot at the bear. It was a little low, but it was a good shot. But it wasn't good enough. And I saw that bear run, and I'm like, shit. And it's now pitch dark out. So I call Mark up, my friend Mark, and I'm like, not Mark Shoppy, but a different Mark. and I go, I shot a bear. We have to go find it. And we're looking around, and I'm looking around, and suddenly we're like, we're not finding a blood trail. Well, you did hit it. And I'm like, yeah, I did fucking hit it. I saw it flop on the ground and then run. Eventually, we found it. And what she did was she retreated from where she came. So she went north, and then she booked it a hard right, making her go east. And then she booked it south and ran across what we call the pipeline, which is like just an area that's kind of wide open that a lot of snowmobiles go on in the winter. And she ran about 150 yards of us trying to find her, and we kept seeing more and more and more and more and more blood. So we knew she was dead somewhere. But I gotta tell you, walking in thick brush and then thick woods at night with only a flashlight, your gun, and potentially a wounded black bear out there is a horrifying experience.
Yeah,
I
I hate that.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Now, what made me feel bad about this bear is that she died. She lived too long, in my opinion. The last 2 bears that I got, they took about 10 steps and they were dead. You can't get any cleaner than that. She ran about 150 yards and died. And when I saw her, the bullet, where the bullet went through, the bullet hole on the exit wound was so big, her guts started coming out.
Oh.
And that's actually how we kind of found her, was we were finding bits of guts on the ground.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, no. And it was I never want to use that type of ammo again because of that. And I'm like, it wasn't my best shot. That was one thing, and then that happened. And like that's something that genuinely happens too, because Mark could tell that I was really down. That I wasn't down. I was happy that I got a bear, because that's what I went out there to do, and now I can have the meat, and now the meat is in my freezer. But it was just sad because I don't want, if I'm going to kill an animal, I don't want that animal to suffer.
Yeah.
And she ran 150 yards before she finally died. And I'm like, that's too long.
Yeah, you want something more clean.
I want something cleaner. Am I happy that she died? Yes. I'm glad that she wasn't like writhing in pain on the ground. It clearly, just by the way how we found her, she took a step and died.
Mm-hmm.
Before she hit the ground. She was dead before she hit the ground, which is good. But I was so scared that I was going to find her and she was still going to be alive and I was going to have to put another bullet in her. But as we're walking through the brush, Mark is in front of me with a pistol and I'm right behind him. And I had my gun in the air with a bullet in the chamber and the safety off, but my finger not on the trigger. And my plan was, if that bear suddenly came out and charged, I was going to shoot up in the air as many times as I could to scare that thing off. And it's pitch dark out, and it's a fucking black bear, and it was fucking horrifying.
God.
I've never been more on edge in my life than walking through that woods and doing that.
Honestly, like
I
walking
love
through
it.
the woods at night is probably one of the most
It is
terrifying things I
it
can
is
think of.
terrifying. It is fucking terrifying. I don't care how many times I do it. Going out in the woods early in the morning before sunrise is terrifying. Being out in the woods a half hour after sunset, which is when legal shooting ends, is terrifying. But that's when they like to come out.
Even when I was like, because during the shoot for the 3rd Shelby episode, the one about ghosts, at the end of the episode, I run through the woods with the quote unquote Dybbuk box, and it's just a jewelry box. But like, even just running through the woods that were literally right next to a public park,
mm-hmm.
At night, even then I was like, I hate this. Where
oh
there's
my
like
God, yeah.
no chance of like, because I think like, even though there's like no chance, like I'm not gonna find a bear like in a public park on Long Island. Or like, even if I were to encounter a deer, I wouldn't be like afraid of that. I think I was more like, what if there's people here?
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, people are fucking terrifying.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
what if there's someone fucking here, and like we're just some mooks with a flashlight and a camera running around with a fucking giant jewelry box.
Well, at least you got the box.
I did get the box. I stole it from that bit. No.
Master Video Studios, you bring up a very good point. Hey, Adam, you want to know something that's more terrifying? What do you say? Adam, you want a more horrifying experience than a bear? Try doing all of that with a group of feral hogs. You are 100% correct.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy.
my.
Yeah. Master Video Studios,
That
are you in
sounds
Texas? Are you in Texas? Because I know they have a bad feral hog problem in Texas. And it's bad. Pigs are nasty. Pigs are nasty. You want a story? I'm actually kind of doing a documentary on it right now. After the second day of Gettysburg, there was a battle in the wheat field. Battle in the wheat field. And that was one of those battles where there was horrendous amount of casualties and wounded everywhere. I mean, just wounded everywhere. The reason why I discovered the story was because one of the survivors was from the 12th New Hampshire, which was a regiment not too far away from where I grew up. Well, apparently, in the middle of the night, a bunch of wild hogs went through the wheat field and started eating the wounded.
Oh my.
And they said you could hear the screams for miles coming from the wheat field because of the hogs that went in there. And there was this one story of this guy. He was a lieutenant who was horribly wounded, clearly was going to lose a leg, couldn't move. He had his sword. He ran out of pistol ammo and he had his sword. And he said you could hear the hogs around you. And one would come up to me and I would stab it with my sword and it would let out the most horrific scream ever, but they kept coming.
God.
Did he survive?
He did. They found him the next day. But there are actually pictures, and I actually went on a Reddit, a Civil War Reddit subreddit, kind of talking about this, which gave me a bunch of sources for it. And there are pictures of the aftermath that are in textbooks that you think they were killed in battle. They were wounded and eaten by hogs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. War is hell. That's a good Halloween story.
War is the true horror.
Oh, you're from South Dakota. Okay, Master Video Studios. Okay. All right. I just know that there's a bad thing going on in Texas right now where you could shoot like 5, 6, 7 of them, and the Fish and Game there are like, absolutely do it. So bad.
Like, please get rid of them.
Hogs are my graboids. Oh my god, I fucking love that. Tremors. It's such a good.
Oh, like the graboids from Tremor.
Yeah. Well, I want to take a little bit of an intermission here. I want to fill up my water bottle and get something to drink because I have some scary Reddit stories. Now, have any of you done any other stories or found any stories, or is it just me for this one?
I got stories.
You got stories?
Yeah, sure.
Jim, did you say you had one?
I didn't find any Reddit stories, no.
Okay, I thought you mentioned something about
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Story,
Yeah.
but not a scary story.
Oh,
I have
okay.
a story, but it's not scary.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
But it's still Halloween.
Oh, well, okay, you can tell it.
Okay, so
You know what? Tell it right now. Tell it right now. I'm putting you on the spot, Jim.
Jenny and Antonio basically know this. So my wife loves the fall, and she has been planning for like the past 2 months a nice getaway trip to go to Sleepy Hollow. Um, there's the legend of Sleepy Hollow, and I'd never heard of it, but I do like Halloween, and we thought it would be a nice day trip because it's only like 40 miles away from here. And so we went, and we were going to make this trip out of it. And while we were driving, we decided to listen to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, like an audiobook of it.
The story of Ichabod
awful.
Crane.
Yeah, the story of Ichabod Crane. I thought it was awful, by the way. And I know I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but like, I think he just made it up, and he used the pumpkin throwing its head at him as an excuse to run out of town, instead of just admitting that that the fair lady didn't love him. So that's my 2 cents on Sleepy Hollow. But we were going to spend the whole day there, and we were going to pick up my niece at the train station. GPS said it was going to take an hour and like 10 minutes to get there, and it was going to be a nice day. My niece was going to meet us at the train station at 12 o'clock. We left at 10:30, and yeah, we thought that was going to be great, even if there was a little bit of traffic. It ended up taking us over 3 hours to get there because we didn't get to the train station until 3 o'clock. Now, Sleepy Hollow, the town of Sleepy Hollow, wants people to come to this town for this, cute little Halloween story, but then they do nothing for like travel guides, no police directing traffic or anything like that. And the one police officer that we did see, he's the real villain of the story, the horror guy. He told us to go down this one-way street, and I'm not kidding. We were stuck on this 200-foot long one-way street for over an hour. I was sitting in park talking to the guy who lived on the street. That's how bad it was on the
That is
street.
the ultimate horror
But like
story right
talking
there.
to the homeowner sitting on his porch, I was talking to him. Like that's the true horror. And so then by the time we got to the train station, I was so fed up, and I just said, "We're going home." So that that was my story that I wanted to tell about Sleepy Hollow. I'm sure it's a cute little town, but don't go in October. It's a nightmare.
No, you don't want to go in October. That area is what I like to call a tourist trap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I fell for it. And I feel bad for the people that live there. I genuinely do.
Oh no, don't. They make so much money off of this horse shit. It's like if you go to Gettysburg, there's a lot of tourist traps in Gettysburg, but
Oh,
I
dude,
understand
Mr.
it.
Ed's Elephant and Candy Emporium.
fucking awesome.
It was great.
I'm sorry, the restaurant, the Gettysburger, absolutely go there.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They saw
I
the
couldn't think of a
pun,
better
took it,
name for a
ran.
restaurant.
I couldn't either.
Oh, they took that pun and ran.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so
Good
good.
Yeah.
for them. Good for them.
Yeah, the blue and the gray bar. Oh yeah, everything there is Civil War. it's almost comical. All right.
I'll let
Well,
you
we'll
know,
be-
Jim. I didn't know Sleepy Hollow was in New York until you said that you went there.
Neither did I. And
That's
I also
actually
thought
interesting. I always thought it was
much
in
more north.
Massachusetts.
It's east.
It's
Like
not
it's
that far
closer to
from us.
Connecticut. It's
Yeah,
only
it's
it's
like a.
oh, I know, and that's what peeved me off the most. It's 31 miles, and it took us 3.5 hours to get there. Do you not understand how slow that is?
I understand.
It drove me insane.
It drove you insane. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Got to make a horror movie about traffic.
Oh God.
It is my horror story.
Dot dot
There
dot.
we go. Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, time for some Reddit stories. We all love our Reddit stories. This should be fun to round out this ANP Halloween live stream. So we'll be right back. I say we'll be back at 9:55 p.m. That gives us a solid 5 minutes. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to the ANP annual live stream. This is now the second half of the live stream, and today, me, the subspecies, and myself, we will be reading the worst of the subspecies, which is Reddit. We have some scary stories in which we are going to divulge today. Just in the spirit of the human holiday, Halloween. Anyways, so we are all here still. I think.
Hello.
Hello.
Live
That is
long and
frustrating.
suck it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have these. I specifically wanted these to be real horror stories. Not ones that are like, creepy ghost stories to tell in the dark or things like that. No, I wanted these to be real. Things that actually happen, things that could actually be kind of plausible. And because of that, in many ways, it makes them a little more terrifying. So, are we ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Go for it.
So here's the title of this one. I found my wife's secret Google account, and I'm sick to my stomach.
I'm sorry.
Intriguing.
I'm sorry. To see you look at your phone with the glasses and the monkey mask. It's really funny.
Quite the image.
It looks like you're like oh my god. It looks like you're a fucking gorilla, but you like put on your reading glasses.
Well, I need my glasses to read. Antonio.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of your visual impairment.
Gorillas have the same problems as humans do. It is unfortunate. It is an unfortunate reality.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you have to be similar to us in some way.
Yes, because you are inferior to the simian race.
Absolutely.
Proceed.
Proceed. All right. So I found my wife's secret Google account, and I'm sick to my stomach. Let's see. Original post March 17th, 2024. So this is really recent.
I'm not gonna lie, I might have heard this story, but go
Probably.
on.
If you know Smosh, you probably know this one.
Then yeah, I've heard this. This is wild.
This is wild. I, male 36, met my wife Bailey, female 33, 9 years ago through mutual co-workers, and we hit it off immediately. I fell absolutely head over heels with this woman. She was everything I was looking for. I had gotten out of a toxic, dare I say abusive, long-term relationship right before that with a woman Bailey had been acquainted with, but not friends with. I had her blocked on everything and had no contact with her since breaking up. We got married right after. This is very difficult in this mask. I'm now realizing.
Just the.
It's every time he brings it closer to his face.
Shut up! Shut up! You're making fun of me! Shut up!
Yeah, I'm making fun of the way you look.
Glasses.
Oh my gosh.
Shut up!
I'm Freddy now.
Shut up! I got married right after the tail end of the pandemic. Bought our first house together and started trying to conceive, have a baby. That was difficult because Bailey has PCOS, but last year she finally gave birth to our first daughter. I'm having a blast being a dad, and it's kind of a dream come true. I finally got my happy life with the perfect wife.
Aw.
My perfect wife. Until last Monday.
Dun dun dun.
My laptop's battery shit the bed, so I opened up Bailey's work tablet with an attached keyboard. You can set it up like a monitor. To check on some tax stuff. She wasn't home. It was just me and the baby and me. But we've never asked permission to use each other's devices. We've always been open like that. There's nothing for us to hide. That's what I thought. When I opened up the internet, I noticed she had the incognito tab open. Never in a million years did I expect to discover what I did. My wife has a secret Google account with a photo album saved called XX. So I clicked on it. Did I discover an affair? Nudes? Nope. The album said it was started back right around the time Bailey and I started dating, and was updated as recently as 2 weeks ago. The photos ranged from candid shots with family to pictures at her work functions. Oh, no, I skipped the sentence.
Okay.
Did I discover an affair? Nudes? Nope. In this Google album were over 300 photos, 348 actually, of my ex. The woman I was with right before I met Bailey. The woman who tormented me and made me feel worthless. The albums said it was started back right before the time Bailey and I started dating. And it was updated as recently as 2 weeks ago. The photos range from candid shots with family to pictures at her work functions. There were even pictures from her yearbook. I don't know how Bailey could have found her high school yearbook photos. Photos from vacations, ID photos from work, pictures of her crowds, screenshots of videos, and screen recordings of videos. Just her. The other people in the photos would be scribbled out, or the photos would be cropped and zoomed in just on my ex.
Creepy.
There was other disturbing things I found too. There was another album with just zoomed up pictures of my ex's hair. Come to think of it, Bailey had recently started wearing her hair differently, and my ex had a very identifiable hair type. There was another album with screenshots of comments on social media. Of course, I can't find them because I have her blocked. Like Facebook groups she's in and public posts. And my ex is very low key on social media. I can't imagine the lengths Bailey went through to find them. My ex literally lives in another country now. There were also different links to the exact outfits she was wearing. Like very specific blouses and trousers you'd have to really go looking for to find. A specific water bottle I remembered her purchasing, and identical hiking boots and sandals. So basically, my partner of almost a decade has been single white femaling my ex-girlfriend. Has secretly stalked her to the point of buying her exact clothes and changing her hair. And now I'm starting to realize Bailey's new interests over the years were just my ex's. Bailey has turned herself into my ex. Everything feels like a lie. Our love feels like a lie. The things we share feel like a lie. I threw up and had a panic attack. I looked at our daughter and felt betrayed. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't know if I want to. I want to run away with our daughter. I want to print out all of her pictures, leave them on the table, and disappear. I don't know what to do. I just want to throw up.
It's so
Crazy.
creepy. It's so creepy.
But why? Like, is there a follow-up?
There are. We have some updates. But I
Okay.
wanted to get your initial reactions just on that initial posting alone.
Why is she stalking the ex?
That's what I don't understand.
I'm curious to
And
the
then
reason.
replicating the
Like
ex
regardless of the reasons, this is unhealthy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This is completely
understatement.
unhealthy.
We're full circle. We turned into the therapy session.
Yeah, you see? Yeah, you
Yes.
see?
Yeah, we're
Every
gonna
time.
therapize her.
Every time. Every AN Productions live stream eventually turns into a therapy session.
Can
I
we
told
get
you.
a clip of that?
With the mask,
with the monkey
With the
mask.
mask.
Can we clip that?
You people didn't pay
I'm
attention to
curious
me
if
until
there's-
I donned the mask. Anyway,
Was there a reason listed why the guy and the ex broke up?
she was
Apparently she was, like, very
emotionally
abusive.
abusing him. Yeah, the ex
So if it was
was.
unhealthy and toxic, why would the new girlfriend want to replicate that?
That was the
That's what's
question.
confusing to me.
That's that is what is confusing here, and I cannot fathom
There's gotta.
what the guy must be feeling, what the husband must be feeling. What?
I wonder if there's. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, Jenny.
I wonder if there's tea about, like, do they actually know each other and she's lying? Like, oh, I've never met her before.
No,
but
they did.
actually
They were
have, like, a
colleagues.
history.
They said that at the beginning that his ex
But is there more?
knew Bailey.
Like, I wonder if they knew them in death more than the new girlfriend told him.
That's entirely possible. I mean, how would you feel, though, knowing that your significant other, that you thought you knew for a decade, was hiding
a
something
child.
this fucking crazy?
Yeah, the fact that they have a child is awful.
Oh, a whole
Yeah.
other level of messed up.
Now, did
Because
she?
now it's someone else involved in it that has no
Yeah,
say over anything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jim?
Does she have like a personal vendetta against the woman? Like, did she maybe steal the guy from her and like is following what she's doing to keep tab on her? Like, that
Well, we
doesn't
don't
make any
really.
sense.
In this original post, we don't really know. There has indeed been an update. We just don't know too much about it yet. I
Maybe
haven't
the
read the update at all, so I don't know where the story is going to go.
maybe the
Um,
new girlfriend was in love with the ex-girlfriend, but can't come out, so this is the next best thing.
That's a fucking twist.
Ooh,
Whoa,
that would be
whoa.
wild.
I
And
just can't.
that's why
Write
she's
that down.
taking
Write
on
that down.
her
That's a
interests, so
good
they
movie.
have common interests.
Jenny, that's a good movie. Write it. We'll make it.
I'm
That
down.
sounds-
I'm down. Don't even.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Doomed
Let's-
fem ship. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm here for the drama with the gays and all of that. I'm here for
I love you. You have absolutely no idea. I love gay drama.
Can we get a clip of that?
Gay drama just rocks my world.
This
It just
new
rocks my
Monkey
world.
Jones video is wild.
I bet it's something to do with the new girlfriend is actually in love with the ex or something like that, and this was the next best thing. Because why else
I
would
don't
she
know.
wear the hair similar and the similar interests? She's more interested in connecting with the girl than the guy.
Do
I'm also,
Antonio
like-
and Jim? Do you guys have any predictions?
I'm confused because it's like, like the way that you would think it would be going is that maybe that the woman doesn't have any confidence in herself, but knows that he was with this girl. So maybe she wants to replicate that girl to an obsessive degree because he wants her.
I think I'm
But
on
it's
board
like-
with Antonio's hypothesis here.
But the problem with that is that he doesn't seem like he's that secretive about how much he hates her.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, why her?
But that's why I think she has a personal vendetta against her. I can't remember. The current wife has a vendetta
The current wife's
against
name is Bailey.
the ex-girlfriend. So Bailey has the vendetta against the ex-girlfriend and is just trying to like rub it in her face, kind of. That makes sense.
That's
Like
like
that
that's
she
even in
got
context.
spite dedication, and I can appreciate that. That is dedication.
but
Never,
that's what
never
I'm saying.
underestimate the power of spite. You're absolutely correct.
To have a kid with this guy and like out of spite.
Mhm.
Damn. You imagine telling that kid
That's-
in 12
yeah.
years, you were only born out of spite?
And
That
don't
you
fucking
know what?
That
forget.
kid's gonna need to come to one of our therapy sessions.
Don't fucking
this is true.
forget
Yeah.
that according to this Google Drive, Bailey has been collecting these photos since they started dating, like the beginning of their relationship, and
He
it's
said
been
10 years.
10 years
Yeah,
of doing
that's
this.
10 years.
That's dedication to the bit.
Now, admittedly, this next bit of, well, you'd be surprised what you could do in the name of spite.
Oh, I believe it. Wait, I'm
Yeah.
very curious about this update now.
Yeah, why do you think I'm friends with you guys?
Damn.
I love
This has
how
all
we
been
all
just one
read
giant
different-
bit.
He's collecting information about us for 10 years. We're coming up on 10 years.
I'm actually the physical manifestation of AI.
He's learning.
Oh no.
He's learning.
My arch nemesis.
You're actually seeing my real form right now. This is not a mask.
This is
Yeah.
when we see him like morph back into Adam. Like there's like he doesn't take off the mask. It's just like AI fucking terrible ass transition.
What if I didn't acknowledge the mask at all? It was just
What
like,
mask?
what the fuck you guys talking about? What mask?
What mess?
I just grew out my beard.
No shave
There are
November. Starting a little
So
early.
many racist jokes hidden in there somewhere, but I'm not going to say a single one of them.
Stop it. Stop it.
All right, what's the update? I want the update.
Well, let me. Excuse me.
Your excuse.
I need my glasses.
Absolutely.
What's my
Of course.
grade? I can't take this
Yeah.
seriously.
I also can't take it seriously because every time he opens his mouth, he squeaks.
Yeah, yeah. I squeak. It's what I do. It's the metal wiring of the jaw.
It's what makes me superior to you subspecies.
It is the subspecies, the
See,
non-simian
he's
races.
committing to the bit.
Yeah,
This is.
it is the non-simian races. They just don't understand. They just wouldn't get it.
there's one thing I am. It's a sub. All right, anyway.
Update.
That caught me really off guard for some reason.
I can't do this anymore, guys. I can't. I'm sweating so profusely.
He put the glasses on just to take them off.
All right, guys. If you said 10-17, you are our winner.
You are the winner.
Oh my god.
I have black hair now all over my head.
I thought you were
Hair on.
long, luscious locks.
Long,
Hair on his
luscious
head, you
locks.
might wanna
I don't
enjoy
know
that.
where the fuck my my hat went. Where did I? It's in the kitchen. That's where it is. But let me read this update. Sorry, you guys have to deal with my ugly mug now. Okay. Let's see if I can't find it.
He had to have talked to her. He's like, I don't even want to confront her. You have to confront her.
How do you not?
Yeah, how do you just...
Not even out of, like, even just to be like,
Why?
huh?
Yeah. Just...
Okay.
Why?
All right. All right.
Okay.
So, someone responded to him and said, "Holy cow, that definitely is alarming." Oh my god, fucking black hair from the monkey mask everywhere. Oh god.
Monkey mask. Sorry.
Ever to get that out. Adam, shut the fuck up. Read the fucking thing. The best thing to do is address it now and see what she'll change if she no longer has someone to replicate. The toxic side of me would slowly start mentioning things like, you really do remind me of someone, and nonchalantly bite into an apple and walk away.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I live
OOP responded, "I feel like what's worse is that she subtly made these changes over time under my nose, which is terrifying. So my ex has a specific career, and Bailey didn't express interest in switching careers to that exact same thing until after I had mentioned what my ex did. Didn't notice at the time, but I remember telling her, X went to school for that. The hair was more recent. The outfits and objects slowly over time. The interests, I'm not sure how much she's stolen personality-wise from my ex and what she actually likes. It's all incredibly exhausting and confusing. I'm sorry, this sounds like something straight out of a creepypasta. I'm actually surprised with the amount of support I've gotten on here in the last hour. Believe it or not, there are no other red flags in our marriage." Well, this is a pretty fucking
That's a
big
big
red flag.
one.
Yeah. Now
Oh,
I
they're
don't
coming
know what
back.
else I've missed. He then added, "Well, I talked to my ex." Good. I was actually,
Good.
we should have mentioned that despite the fact that
Before the-
the ex is a piece of shit, he should probably warn her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
That's
if
Is
she's
this
being
before or
actively
after?
stalked.
Yeah.
And he hasn't talked to his wife yet? He talked
Not
to
that
the
I'm aware
girlfriend,
of.
the
Not that I'm
ex?
aware of. Well,
Mm.
I talked about my ex. Most of the things I told my wife about were negative and paint her in not such a good light. My wife knows these things and know they were traumatic. Of course, I've mentioned things like what she does for a living and things she used to do. I think everything else she's found she just got through intense cyber stalking through my ex's friends and family. The yearbook photos, I have no idea. This update is from July 7th, 2024. I'm pretty sure I accidentally got my original post. Oh, never mind. He was not expecting the YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Let's see.
Yeah, because it was on Smosh.
Yeah.
I need to know.
I need closure.
Why?
Like I need more. I hope there's more updates.
If not, I'm gonna dox this dude and like find it where he lives.
I'm going
and
to start
then, like,
stalking
Get that
him.
Be like, tell
geoguesser
me.
guy.
Yeah, I gotta go find the GeoGuessr guy. Like, tell me Tell me from his text post. Where does he live?
Is there any way Bailey could have gotten with me in an attempt to get to my ex? Was Bailey possibly obsessed with my ex before she met me? Probably not, because Bailey grew up here and my ex-girlfriend moved here for university. And while you can drive across the border, it's not that easy, and I don't think Bailey was going back and forth to stalk her in person. Also, the reason why my ex and I broke up have nothing to do with Bailey, and she could not have had any involvement. Onto the actual update, the next day, when I had calmed down and I had called several social workers and therapists, I was planning to confront her there. Unfortunately, the only places that take our insurance did not have an opening for another couple weeks. So despite what a lot of you think, I've known my wife for nearly a decade, and even while I was confused and upset and doubting things, I don't think she'd be a danger to me. We took baby to grandma's, and I asked her to go for a walk with me. Oh boy, whenever a man asks you to go for a walk with him, he's about to reveal some shit.
Gonna confront.
Yeah. I did not beat around the bush and straight up told her, quote, I found the folder. Her face got very red, and she was frozen, but also tried to play dumb at first. I was persistent, and she started crying and begging me not to leave her. This is what I uncovered. Bailey first started looking up my ex out of curiosity. To keep tabs, I guess. But over time, it became more pathological. It's like she got addicted to it. But she also wanted to, quote, please me. Okay, maybe I talked about my ex a lot more than I thought. And Bailey wanted to emulate the good parts. She told me she rarely doesn't know who she is, and my ex's images was something she latched onto because, quote, she had met me first. Finding information about her became a game. Finding the clothing and objects became a game. By searching things like blue water bottle, green stripe, until she could compare the product to a photo and find the exact one. The reason why I couldn't find the post wasn't because I had blocked my ex, but because my ex had made a new Facebook under a different name. Bailey found her profile by searching up a family member. She made fake social media and added enough mutual friends until she could see my ex's posts, and until her private Instagram accepted her. She weaseled her way into her exercise Facebook group, where the videos were posted, and searched her school on a yearbook website to find the yearbook's pictures. Over time, she just collected the images and would get, quote, excited to find something new, despite the fact that my ex is extremely private on social media. The folder had originally been called Hex the X, in case I discovered it. She was going to make the excuse of saving pictures to, quote, put a hex on her.
What? What the hell?
It was just funsies. She was having
Then-
fun.
She.
Oh,
then,
I'm not
then,
done. Then she got sloppy and comfortable. And that's right around the time I just happened to open the work tablet. We took a break. It's a while. We made it to couples counseling, and Bailey and I also began seeing separate therapists. She still has not had an assessment with the psychiatrist, but it's on the list. She promised to stop and delete the album in front of me. Slowly, certain clothing items began to disappear from the closet. I still do not entirely trust her, and that is for me to work on. I'm afraid she has another secret account somewhere, like a backup. The physical mimicking is actually stopping, though, including the hair change. We're still not okay. I want us to be okay, and it's okay if that takes time. If we end up not being okay, then that's something I have to deal with. What I do know is that my wife is incredibly insecure, probably mentally ill, and is misled. I don't really want to walk away from that. Although this possibly isn't the most exciting update, I appreciate the private messages I just couldn't get back to. Reddit cares. And links of resources and stuff like that. I'm not sure how I feel about social media, YouTube and TikTok, picking up on my story, though. That's wild. Until next time, if I ever give another update, I hope it's a good one.
I think my wife is insecure is the biggest understatement I've ever fucking heard.
Yes.
Holy
Really?
shit.
Who is your wife? She don't
That's
know.
just
Yeah,
it.
she
Who the
don't
hell
know.
is this woman? You know? That's fucking
The
insane.
fact that she's literally like, I was stalking her for funsies.
Quite literally.
Send her on Catfish.
insane.
Oh my god. Like,
No, she makes people on Catfish look sane.
she could find the people on Catfish, apparently, and she made her own
That's...
fake accounts to
Oh my-
weasel her way into her life to stalk her.
Jenny, that is the part that freaks me out the most, is the level of dedication she had to that, to the point where she made fake accounts, got enough mutual friends so that way that she could appear on the on the ex's
To look,
alias.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what proves
also-
it's not just like, whoops. It's like, no, you knew what you were doing.
You knew what you were
Yeah, it's
doing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, this was like some like cruel game to you.
She was
The
having
fact that
fun.
also the
I
fact
could
that
see
she looked up
challenging
her high
yourself, but-
school to go find her yearbook. That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's fucking wild. This whole
And then
story... Go ahead, Jenny.
Changing your own personal appearance, changing your career, like she straight up admitted she
Right.
wants to change her career. Like that's not your hair. That's a life decision. You know, the
Yeah.
hair is like, oh, I wanted something new. The career change is like life altering, family altering, money altering decision.
She also, OP made a point here and said something very interesting that Bailey said, and I quote, she became obsessed with him because, quote, she got to me first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she got there first. She
Fuck.
won the race, but now she
Yeah.
was going to win the marathon.
She was going to win the marathon. That,
What if she's only with him because the ex was?
yeah. Well, that's what we don't know. Why is she like
That-
this?
She
How
likes
much-
the challenge more than
How
like,
much of this is, how much of what she's told OP is the truth?
But that's
Now
now the
we can't
questions
know
he has.
anything.
That's what he has to ask himself, and like,
What
I know,
has the
and-
ex said about this?
Nothing.
Well, he said he talked to the ex.
Yeah, and she said
guess
they're,
she
they're both seeing therapy. They both decided they needed to take a break. OP is not walking away because he feels it's his moral obligation to stay with her because of this mental illness and blah 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 blah. As he said, he wants it to work, which I wouldn't.
I have mixed feelings about that
So do I.
personally. Like,
yeah,
I also understand that it's like, I feel like if I were in this situation, I would also have trouble walking away. Because
Well,
it's like,
especially if
okay,
you're with somebody for a decade.
with a
yeah,
kid.
exactly.
That's
And with a kid. Like,
If-
there's
if Jen-
baggage there.
if Jen was doing this, I wouldn't be able to just, because we've been together for 11 years. If she was doing this, I wouldn't be able to walk away. I'd be like, you're insane, and I want to help you, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could just walk away. But that is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, fucking insane, but terrifying. Terrifying
Yeah.
on so many levels. Terrifying, like she herself is terrifying too, but also terrifying for the guy because I couldn't imagine how horrible he must feel just at the realization of, has this all been a giant lie?
Has it all been a game?
Yeah.
Has he
Has-
just been a
yeah,
pawn
actually,
in
that's
her
a better
game?
that's a better way of putting it.
Oh,
Has he just been a
pawn, yeah.
pawn in her game
Yeah.
for her to feel like, yay, I got a victory. I found her water bottle. You know, like,
Honestly, part of it, like, maybe I could believe that Jenny's theory was right. I
We
could
don't
believe
know.
that she has, because what it could be, is that she has this obsession with this woman, and the
Can't
way
come
that
out.
she's showing this obsessive almost fascination, even love maybe in a twisted way, is that she wants to literally be her.
Yeah.
And probably part of being her is being with this guy.
Like she
yeah.
was before her.
Yeah.
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 Maybe that's why they were
wild.
working together too
This is
at the very beginning of the story.
no,
Yeah.
they weren't.
Worked with her.
Oh no, they weren't. Were they working together? Or were they just attending the same university together?
They met through work mutual friends. Or
Oh,
something?
yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that's the only
Yeah.
reason that she was at that job, was to probably spend time with her and get to know her,
Right.
It is
or through their
it is
work
like
acquaintance.
it is the type of thing that makes you question, like, how deep does it go?
How deep does this go? Yeah.
But
And
that's sorry.
nope. Go ahead, Jenny.
That's something he even said himself. Like, what if she has another backup account? He's never gonna fully trust her again.
He
And
can't.
Yeah.
And how do you stay with someone you can't fully trust?
Yeah.
But that's like a
Yeah.
relationship advice drama that they need to work on, and it sounds like they're doing the right moves,
Well, they are
they're
getting help.
each-
They are getting counsel therapy, plus
Yeah.
seeing their own separate therapists on top of that.
Right.
She needs
Yeah.
to not just get therapy. She needs to see a fucking psychiatrist, and I believe she needs to go to a mental facility. There's
Yeah.
there is something wrong with your brain, like literally, for this to have gone on for so long, like an addiction, and he kind of compares it to that within the post.
She got
Horrifying.
addicted
Like-
to the feeling of winning, like finding her victories.
It's horrifying.
But like at the expense of the people around her.
That
Yeah.
she's
In his
supposed
way.
to care about and love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obsession.
horrifying.
And it's like, and I also agree, like, she should be in a mental hospital, and that's not even in like in a derogatory sense.
No.
Like, that's literally in, like, you need genuine help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant by it as well, Antonio. I wasn't meaning like in a
Yeah, no,
derogatory
I
way. She
figured.
needs help. This is absolutely insane. I couldn't be with her. I just couldn't. I couldn't face her knowing that she'd been
It would be
doing
very difficult.
something this insanely creepy for so long.
Behind your back.
Oh my god,
Ew.
yeah.
And just the kid involved adds a whole other
Oh.
layer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
That
like,
would
I mean,
that would honestly betray
Do you
me
stay
almost
together for
more.
the kid?
No.
No, I'd
No.
run. I'd get the kid away from there. The
I wouldn't
kid's
wanna- I
probably not
wouldn't
even a
want
year old
to-
from the what I got
Yeah.
on the post, from what
Mhm.
I gathered.
It's a tough thing
Oh.
to always kind of decide, like,
I figured the kid was
divorce.
older.
No, I
No.
think
no,
it
the
said,
kid's like young.
I think they said she just gave birth.
She's like
or
a year
something.
old. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I missed that. My bad.
That would have hurt me even more. It's like you had a fucking kid. And
Yeah.
terrifying.
But yeah, the
That's-
creepiest
is
part to me is like you said, Adam, the making the fake social media and like inserting herself into the ex's life and like
This is
gaslighting her into believing like,
pathological.
yeah, I am your friend. Let's be Facebook friends. Like, even though they're not.
Yeah, Dragonclaw 95. I feel bad for the baby. Imagine having to explain this to her when she's older. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is mommy not in the
Yeah.
picture?
Because she's fucking crazy.
Because she's fucking cray cray.
That's what they all say.
Well, I think that's enough of that one. But I chose that one because that was a very real scenario that I could picture being the definition of a waking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I couldn't imagine going through that.
It kind of reminds me of fucking Fatal Attraction. I don't know if any of you seen that movie with Glenn Close. Oh my god. Kind of reminds me of that. Anyhow, Antonio, did you have a scary story, or do I need to go on to my next one?
Okay, so my scary stories are quick.
We
All
love
right.
quick.
Okay. I hung up on Jeff the Killer But then as I turned around, I saw him. He Jeff the killed me.
Rip. R.I.P.
That's the whole story.
That's the whole story.
You see, I am also on a subreddit. Bad 2-sentence horrors.
I was gonna say I love 2-sentence horror stories. That was bad though.
Yeah.
There is nothing funnier than a bad 2-sentence horror. I've been obsessed.
All right. What's another one, Antonio? Enlighten us, sir.
Okay. Someone call the president. The aliens are invading. The president answers the phone. I am alien.
I am alien.
It's a xenomorph. they didn't know. Oh, Frank's looking down today.
I just love the fact that I love the fact I am alien.
It reminds me of the episode of SpongeBob where they think the robots are taking over.
Our world!
The robots are taking over the Navy!
Not the Navy! My friend, we were quoting that at work the other day. That's a creepy coincidence.
Whoa. Trick or treat, said the kid at my door dressed as Jeff the Killer. I chose trick only for the kid to take off their costume and reveal they're the meat worm. Oh yeah, that's like a big meme with bad 2-sentence horror stories.
Oh yeah.
Is that they involve the meat worm.
What's that? What is that?
Whatever your imagination can imagine a meat worm is.
Jeff the Killer's made 2 appearances too.
Jeff
Good
the
for
Killer's
him.
been the popular one tonight.
Oh yeah, he's the one the 13-year-olds fucking find and read him.
I told my friend, next time you see the Hat Man, tell him to tell his wife hi from me. Those were the last words I ever wrote.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Clearly
You wrote
not.
this. Oh, this one's so long. How is this 2 sentences?
All right, read it.
That's the horror.
All right. After I ordered a 10-piece McNugget meal with large fries and a large Dr. Pepper with tangy barbecue and honey mustard dipping sauces for $9.99 and a medium vanilla shake for $5.19 for dessert, the man behind the counter gave me my food and said, "Have a good day." But it wasn't a good day. It was an evil day, because then a ghost threw a bag of sauce packets at my head and I slipped on a wet fry and got a concussion. And then later that day, I died in a boat accident, unrelated.
Unrelated.
I think that might be the best one I ever read.
Yeah.
Not the tangy barbecue sauce.
I also love the inclusion of
So
the
specific
unrelated.
with the McDonald's, but not specific at all with the boat accident or anything actually scary.
Oh my god, that's funny.
That's what makes that an Academy Award winner.
Oh, this one's simple but effective.
Okay.
I'm having a good day, I said. Hello, said the anti-good day man.
The anti-good day man.
The anti-good day man.
Really funny.
The fighter of the night man.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I was just thinking the same thing, Jim.
Okay, I think we can continue that after the next story.
Yeah, okay.
I got a million of them.
We got a million of them. All right. So we had to get over the last story, so now we're gonna move on to this one. Okay.
For $4.99
The bad
in the drive-through.
I swear to God, if this story has to do with McDonald's.
Oh, I don't think it does, because I don't think it does, but we'll have some fun here. All right. The story is called "Camping Incident Last Year." This was posted 3 days ago.
I already hate it.
Yeah, I understand. So me and my best friend, I hate it.
I hate Friends.
He waited until I took a sip of water. I know he did. To make me
Adam, I
almost
swear
spit
to
that out
God.
with a joke.
Adam, I swear to God. I swear to God, if you fucking come at me here and you start talking about grammar, I'm gonna be upset.
Okay. So me and my best friend. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my best friend try to go camping once a year. We have been doing this since we were 13 years old. Never really been truly scared or had anything weird happen until last year in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Hey, I went there on my Gettysburg trip. I hiked those. We showed up during the peak season, and the first night and space was very limited. We were losing light, so we set up camp on a spot on the side of the mountain that was an absolute wind tunnel. Morning came, so we went into town, drank beers, and dicked around until late afternoon. By the time we got back up to the mountain to switch our camping spot, we were losing light again, but managed to find a more remote spot. We get set up with our tents, get the fire going, and start drinking again. Time goes by, it's probably 1 a.m., when we see a flashlight aimed at us. And then it starts walking our way. We don't really think much of it and assume it's likely a park ranger coming to fuss at us about something, because who else walks up on you in the remote part of the mountains at 1 a.m.? I don't know about you, but ever since I started camping, I learned it's kind of an unspoken rule that you don't walk up on someone camping that late at night unless it's an emergency. This is true. Anyways, the person gets close enough and we realize it's just some guy, probably early 50s, in a shirt and basketball shorts, and his girl 40s who is avoiding and a girl in her 40s who is avoiding eye contact with us.
Oh,
The man immediately forces a conversation about nothing and doesn't acknowledge the time or his girl. His eyes were darting all over the place while we were talking to him about dumb shit, like what model or style of what style of lantern we had and how cool it was. He's saying weird stuff like how he used to be a former law enforcement, how he used to be in former law enforcement, completely out of context of the random conversation he engaged us in, when all of a sudden he pretends to land his flashlight in our tents and says, "Oh, that's where you guys are sleeping, huh? Cool setup." The way his eyes and flashlight are moving gives us both a feeling that he's trying to see how many of us were there and what he had on us or near us, because his eyes and flashlight kept scanning the ground around us. We were getting sized up. For what, I don't know. Once the guy sees everything around us, he kind of pauses for a minute, ends the conversation, and walks off into the woods. Once his flashlight disappears, me and my friend look at each other, and without me saying anything, he looks at me and says, "We're packing our shit and getting out of here." So we did. This was the most unsettling thing I have ever had happen while camping. I think this guy was going to wait until we were asleep and come back. I just don't know for what, but I do know we were 100% getting sized up that night. Might not seem like much, but if you have ever had a moment with another human being who is sizing you up, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yes, it's what I call dealing with a manager. That's something out of my worst nightmares.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
I would have also just fucking left.
They made the right move.
Antonia, that's exactly what you were describing earlier tonight. Like just being in the middle of the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy
And
showing
yeah.
up,
and there's just a person.
and they just witness that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
That's
I'm curious about the woman. Like, what was she doing?
What was she doing? You want me to be honest what this sounds like to me? And I believe the guys made, not only did they make the right decision, I believe that they were correct that he was going to come back later that night and fuck some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
I'm not saying that he was going to kill them. I'm saying he was probably going to burglarize them and take as much shit as he possibly could. The way how this sounds, and it also includes the girl with the shifty eyes, this sounds like they were both on fentanyl.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking that drugs might have been involved too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, having worked here and seen a lot of shit here, in Maine, I actually see more of it here than I did whenever I was on Long Island. The amount of people on drugs, homeless, stuff like that. This sounds like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which, in some ways, is even more scary because not only are you dealing with a person, you're dealing with a person not in the right state of mind at all.
Which is like so much worse.
I don't know. Let's debate that for a second. What's more terrifying, dealing with a person who is clearly out of their mind, or dealing with a man who is completely 100% sane?
Depends on what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's long term or short term.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Because the druggie will eventually, hopefully, gain his sanity back, but that mentally sane person may stalk you forever.
True. But would that make that person entirely mentally sane, though?
Fair point.
That is a fair point.
Hit on you or whatever.
Yeah.
I think being drugged up makes you unpredictable, and that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yes.
That you don't know what they were coming back to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even when like there are times I'll say like when I would go to like the Kaleidoscope shows and we play at one of like the bars, or they play at the bars. I don't do shit. I just show up. And there'll be like drunk people that come up and like talk to me. And even then I'm like, go away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I don't want to deal with someone who might like flip a switch immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the unpredictableness that the alcohol or drugs introduces another variable, and it's just something that I really wouldn't want to deal with too much in a normal situation, let alone being in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, that's
on a mountain.
1000%. Let me get out of here.
They made the right move. I mean, I don't know if they reported it to like there's a park ranger or anything, that there's some sketchy people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was even a possibility, but as long as they took care of themselves and got out of the situation, that's what counts.
This sounds like a good short 5-minute horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I'm picturing like Anton Chigurh and
yeah.
God damn.
But you see, now the real twist is that we would go to film this movie and then it would actually happen to us.
Oh god.
And then it would turn into like a found footage thing.
Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
What?
I would be all for it. I saw that one. That one creeps me. There's something about the woods that, and I think it's a primal fear left over from when we were monkeys, that the woods is scary at night. To fear,
I feel like
the darkness.
Well, it's because it's hard to see for one thing.
Yeah.
The unknown.
Like, two, like literally anything could be out there, whether it's people, animals, what have you. But then also, it's like I feel like the added like human fear of like outside of how we were in our primal stages. If something happens to you, what are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't call for help in most cases.
Well, I think that all ties into that primal fear. Is being alone, being in a place that you don't know. We needed to be afraid of it to survive. Is that fear is one of those instincts that remains with us. Like how it's almost like how a baby immediately knows how to suck. It's just an instinct that we have, and we all just know how to do it because it's been genetically imprinted into our us.
Did you know that's why
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like black licorice? Because it's extremely bitter, and humans don't like bitter because
Yep.
a lot of poison is bitter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But I imagine we fear things like snakes. We fear things along those lines because we needed to be afraid of them.
Yeah, people who were afraid of them were more likely to survive.
More likely to survive, yeah. Yeah.
I hate snakes.
They're interesting.
Tired of these goddamn snakes on this goddamn plane.
Snakes
It's
are
Monday
so
to Friday
scary.
plane!
Snakes are scary
I like-
because they're quiet and they could slither up on you and you wouldn't even know it until it's like too freaking late.
And, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what scares me.
I like snakes when they're in captivity. As soon as I see one out in the wild, I'm like, no, thank you.
Being eaten, swallowed alive by a snake is like my worst fear.
Oh God, yeah,
Because you're
Oh.
alive that entire time.
yeah.
And the only reason why you die is because you run out of air.
Suffocation sucks.
Sucks! Fucking thing sucks!
Fucking thing sucks.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, no thank you. No
No,
thank
thank
you.
you.
No, thank you.
No thank you at all. Antonio, give
Yes.
us 3 more two-sentence horror ones. Make us laugh.
You got it. All right. My cat was cold. Microwave.
No.
Microwave.
Oh. Okay.
Patrick
I
Ramos,
open-
you are completely wrong. There are snakes, particularly in the Amazon, where they found people inside them.
Yeah. I've seen
They're big enough.
videos of people inside snakes.
Mm-hmm,
Mm.
mm-hmm.
I unfortunately have as well, but I scroll really fast.
I scrolled really fast.
Well, you see, there used to be a thing you could do called Reddit 50/50, and there
I
was a website
love-
called
yeah.
Live Leak.
Yes, live leak. Oh my god, the hours of
And
torture.
Live Leak no longer exists.
Let's just say
I
for
wonder why.
I wonder why. Yeah.
Wholesome
Oh,
content for the
yeah.
whole family to see.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Continue, Mr. Bottiglieri.
I opened the door. The scary doorman was outside.
Not this.
Wait, did he open the scary?
No, he
Oh.
opened the door and
Oh.
the scary doorman was outside.
Come on, just keep up.
Come on, man. I know these are quick, but like, come on, man. You gotta.
you
keep
gotta
up the
you
plot.
gotta keep up. Yeah, these are perfect for
The plot is
TikTokers.
thickening.
The plot is thickening.
All right. This one I read while you were telling the creepy camp story, and I almost died.
Oh my. Okay.
We don't know much about Mr. Teeth, but we know less about Mr. Gums.
These have to be written by 5-year-olds. Or AI. They could be written by AI.
No, I know it. So
Wait,
people do
I
write
gotta find
these
out.
as jokes,
Oh, okay.
but like they're so wonderfully crafted still.
Like
Because
their
they
art
write
in
them
of
in the way
themselves.
that someone is trying. They write it as if it's someone trying to be scary and utterly failing.
Right. So it's art in of itself. It's an art form in of itself.
It's like the Dadaism of two-sentence horror. This is not a pipe. If you want to be
Man,
pretentious, art.
it's
art
just
class.
it's just some really good bossa nova beats.
You just gotta croon it.
Yeah, you just gotta croon it.
Right, okay,
Oh.
so now I typed in to Copilot, write me a bad 2-sentence story, a horror story, and this is what I came up with. The old doll in the attic blinked its eyes and whispered, "I'm coming for you." From the shadows, a soft giggle echoed, but no one was there to hear it.
Then
But I was
did it
there.
really even echo, or did it really
Yeah.
even with?
Yeah.
That's
we
why
know
it's
that-
bad.
Yeah, sound isn't a thing if no one can hear it. Because
See,
hearing is
that
the
wasn't
perception
funny.
of sound.
AI
But it's
sucks.
a noise. But it's a noise. A sound is heard by the eardrums. A noise is not.
Yes.
So
I
if
think you're
If
right.
a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? No. Does it make a noise? Yes.
This got really technical really quick.
Yeah. Very technical. Antonio, 2 more.
Yeah. 2 more? You got it, boss. All right. Wow, these are some good sneakers, I said to the sneaker man. Yeah, he smirked as the sneaker tentacles engulfed me.
No.
I can see what you mean by this being an art form.
Sneaker tentacles. Oh my god.
What are sneaker tentacles?
The
What are
laces.
sneakers? The laces. Yeah.
You know what? You got me there. You're right. You're right.
Because I was going to say, well, some sneakers, or I'm sorry, some shoes are laceless, and but he said specifically mentioned sneakers. Do they make? Well, hold on. Let's poke a hole in the story. Do they make? I'm looking it up.
There's like slip-on sneakers and Velcro
Do
sneakers.
they make? What are they called? Laces. Laceless sneakers.
I know
Dragon-
that
Yeah.
Nike made
Dragon
the,
Claw, to answer your question, I'm finding these on Reddit.
There's like slip-on sneakers and Velcro sneakers.
So then this story just doesn't make sense. It's got a giant plot hole in it.
Yeah, 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny. All right, but this one's relatable. This is like a real story, this next one. My husband brought home pizza and it had mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms.
It's so simple. It's elegant.
Oh my god!
Straight to the point.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Straight to the point.
But
Terrifying.
I
Horror-filled.
like mushrooms on my pizza.
Listen, horror's subjective, all right?
Look, man, horror.
I
Move
also
on.
like mushrooms on my pizza, but you know who doesn't? Jess, all right?
I don't.
Mm.
So I relate to this one.
I guess that means because I like mushrooms on my pizza, I now have to like stalk Jess in every way, shape, and form until I know every little tiny thing about her and start emulating her.
All right,
Yeah.
step 1, get like 6 feet shorter.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut off my leg. I'm gonna
Oh,
cut
you
off
can
my
be like
leg
that
so I
guy.
can squat and take a poop on my floor every single day.
He's missing a leg.
Pooping on
No one in the comments is going to fucking get that.
But we do, and I appreciate
But
it.
we do.
It is a joke that will probably die when time itself does.
It will live on.
Itself does. Exactly.
Whew.
Oh,
Well, this was fun.
We all just did that at the same time. Well, I have one more here. I have one more story here, and then I think we can call this a successful stream. It's called Stranger Banging.
He can't even get through the title.
Stranger
No,
what?
Horror story?
Stranger
Here's the
who?
thing. Because here's the thing. It's not a dumb title. I'm just reading this as Nicolas Cage from running down the street screaming, "Strangers banging on the neighbor's door!" And I'm so sorry. Stranger banging on my neighbor's door at 3 a.m. And this has been labeled as, quote, terrifying.
Before you start that, you can't just come out here and just stop yourself at that sentence being stranger banging and then just stop there. You can't. You just can't do that.
Well, clearly I can because I did.
Well,
Yeah,
I've already
got him
called the
there.
cops, so.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, I did that way too fast. Okay. we're good to go.
GeoGuessr's already getting your location.
Oh, fuck.
Guys, this is a scary story.
You're right. Whew, okay. I'm ready to be scared. Ready to be terrified.
Ready to be scared.
Humana.
This is getting very
Sorry.
This is getting very difficult. Okay. I had arrived at our family's beach condo the night before everyone else was supposed to show up. I was a bit concerned because the balcony door on the patio didn't lock. The only thing holding it back was a small metal hook in a ring in the door frame. This did not concern me at the time because our condo was locked on the second floor, sandwiched in the middle of the condominium. It was highly unlikely a criminal would Spider-Man his way up into my specific patio. I went to bed and was awoken around 3 a.m. At first, I thought there was an emergency because I heard alarms, but they quickly faded. The latter turned out to be part of my dream. There was someone banging on the door next to the condo I was staying in. When I wake up, I'm usually a zombie and can't think, and I slowly start to drag myself out of bed and walk to the door. I guess my zombie mode and I thought that the person banging at the door was my family members who were supposed to arrive the next day. But then I noticed that the deadbolt hadn't been locked, and that my family knew the combinations to the door and wouldn't need me to open it. I began to panic. I quickly secured the dreadbolt and secured 2 chains near the patio door in case anyone tried to kick down the door. The person banging on my neighbor's door was there for 7 minutes. Not wanting to get a stern talking to from my family, it's a long story involving trust dynamics and how my family operates. And seeing as I hadn't heard any threats or attempt to kick down the door or any attempt to unlock it using lockpicking, I called the non-emergency number. Apparently, I had called the wrong county of the state I was in. I blame this on the fact that I was still groggy and in zombie mode from recently waking up. The police transferred me to 3 other police lines and then eventually hung up on me. I called the non-emergency number again, the correct county this time, and they dispatched a police officer to come and investigate. By the time I had made the second call, the person had stopped banging on the door. The officer shows up 30 minutes later, and I explain the situation to him. The perpetuator is long gone, and the officers say he will survey the scene and then leave. I also explained that I had called and been transferred 3 times and then hung up on. He explained that that was very nice of them, sarcastic, and quote, to be expected from operators around here. My family shows up the next day at a reasonable time of day, and I explain the situation to them. They do not believe me. I eventually ran into the guy whose door was being banged on, the door the quote-unquote criminal was banging on. Our condo neighbor at the time, and he confirmed to my doubtful family about the situation. He explained that he was awoken in the middle of a night by the banging on his door and went to investigate who it was. However, he couldn't see through the peephole as the second unlocked wooden screen door was still closed, and it was so dark and hard to see. He grabbed a knife and asked several times, "Who's there?" with no response, and just continued banging at the door. Eventually, the guy disappeared, and after 7 or so minutes of this, we never figured out who it was or why they did it. It might be as boring as some drunk going to the wrong room number and getting confused and leaving after 7 minutes. But the fact they didn't respond when asked who they were, and they proceeded to leave without saying anything, concerned me. There were no more incidents after this. Like, okay, you guys go camping. Just imagine you're staying at a trailer park, or, you know, you're at your camp, and someone's banging on the tent next to you.
I go home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'd wish I had a gun.
Yeah.
I would try to call like the park ranger.
Yeah.
I usually don't have very
Mhm.
luck getting through to the park ranger after hours, but I would try my darndest.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they
I probably would have done the same thing. I would have called the police.
Well, the thing that's astonishing to me on this is how much of a zombie he is during all this. Like, goddamn, if something scares me, I don't know about you guys, but if something scares me, like I'm asleep and like something jumps me and like I'm
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wide awake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, even if you are a little groggy in the beginning, come 30 seconds to a minute, you're like fully.
Yeah.
It's almost like in a hyper state of.
It's an adrenaline rush kind of thing.
Awareness. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I wonder if he's just so pumped in adrenaline he doesn't know what he's doing.
No, to me it
rather
sounds like
than-
he was drunk, and trying not to admit he was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That could be it. 'Cause
But
it's
then
like,
again-
how are you
7
that
minutes of
groggy?
knocking straight. I mean, I feel like even if like the knocking guy was drunk, I feel like he'd give up after 7 minutes.
Well, the thing that I
Or at
also
least
kind of
start
find interesting is
yelling.
that OP didn't see the knife. It's the neighbor that said, no, the guy had a knife.
I thought the neighbor grabbed the knife.
No, the neighbor grabbed the knife.
Oh, the
in
neighbor
case he
grabbed the
did get in,
knife.
and he couldn't see him through the peephole.
You couldn't see him through the peephole.
That's
Honestly, if I was in this situation, I probably would have opened. If I was OP, I would have opened the door and I would have shouted down, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I could just picture myself doing that.
I don't think.
But the fact that it lasted for 7 minutes, this again sounds like a case of, and I think OP kind of predicted it correctly. Some drunk mistook the room for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be as innocent as that. Or it could even be as innocent as, like, maybe it was just some prank.
Mm.
You know, someone just trying to scare somebody.
Mm-hmm. It's the knife, though, that remains creepy, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely adds an extra factor to it.
Why would he carry that knife on him? Well, we don't know what kind of knife. Like, was it like a pocket knife? Which, if you're camping, it's good to have one.
I assumed it was the kitchen knife.
Mm.
Spooky stuff. I don't see, because the OP kind of wrote off like it being a drunk because like the dude didn't respond. I don't really see that as like not a possibility. You know?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. In fact,
Especially-
oh no, go ahead, Jenny.
This was at a campground, we said? Or it said?
At a condominium.
Oh. Mm,
Well, a condominium, it's like an apartment.
Yeah.
I think
Isn't
this
it?
makes a really good ad for a Ring doorbell.
I have a bone to pick with you, sir.
And yeah, I think it's a really good ad for a Ring doorbell.
I gotta tell you, like, that's scary. Like, I freak out whenever I hear my doorbell go off or somebody knocks on my door during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, me
Right.
too. And I peek through the window.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Who
I
are
always
you?
do.
Hey, what do you want? from
I
me?
think some of my paranoia for that is systemic trauma, quote unquote, from my parents doing the 2 knocks, then opening the door.
Oh yeah.
And that, I think that like we all have pet peeves, like we all have, and I don't mean like minor things. I mean like we all have like that one big pet peeve that we just can't stand. Mine is not knocking before you enter a room.
Yeah.
So like like let's say you know that you need to go into the bedroom for something, you knock. And if you don't get a response, you go. Yeah, kind of deal. Sorry. What brought me on that? What brought me on that? I can't even remember.
That the guy was knocking.
That the guy was.
Oh yes, that the guy
you're
was
traumatized
the guy
whenever
was-
people knock at your door.
when people knock on my door. Yeah. No, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's terrible. Oh well. Ideal.
If you want to talk about
Also-
also like terrifying situations that happen with just dealing with strange people, and it's like at a certain point I also feel bad for them, but it's also like I don't know, sometimes it's the way they go about it, where every morning, well, like at some point during the day I've been like walking a lot, so I'll like walk around like my neighborhood or whatever, and I like to go on like 3.5 mile walks like every day. So there are some times where I'm walking with someone and I'm walking next to someone who is probably either homeless or just a beggar, and they'll ask me for money, and I have to be like, I don't bring my wallet with me when I'm walking, so I'm like, no, I don't have anything. But I always get like that fear of like, what if they get mad though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like, what if they get mad at
Yeah.
me? Though there was one time, and this dude creeped me the hell out, and I hated it because I encountered him twice in the same day. For one thing, I did have my wallet on me this time because I was walking with Jess to go get food. At like there's like a deli like right around the corner from where I live. It's like 5-minute walk. So I walk past a gas station, and this guy, I'm not kidding, he walks up to me and has this kind of face. He's literally like,
Oh.
Hold
And he
hold
goes-
that. Hold that, Antonio. Do that again. I'm bringing you up full screen. For that.
No,
I'm using that on a thumbnail at some point.
but he walks up to me with that face, and he goes, "Hey man, can you give me some money for some coffee? I really need
Oh
some
my
coffee. Can you
God.
get me coffee?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have anything by." But then I saw him on my way back home, and he comes up to me again like, "Can you give me money for coffee? I really need coffee." And as I'm holding a bag that I just got from the deli with food in it, I'm like, "No, goodbye." Like, please
Well, you
stop
don't have the money.
talking
You
to
spent
me.
it on the. You sent it
Yeah,
on the
I
goodie
spent
bag.
it on a bagel.
Yeah.
But I'm like, please, I'm like, don't talk to me, please.
Well, do we have do we have any of those kind of like irrational like fears? Like I mentioned the knocking thing, but I can tell you probably the most frightening scenario to me that I can think of that my brain will conjure up is tomorrow I wake up and everyone on the planet hates me.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like it was like you're just having a fine day beforehand, you go to bed, when you wake up, suddenly literally every person you meet, every person you talk to, they hate you.
Yeah, that would suck.
It sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a parallel universe.
Yeah. There's a few others. Did I tell you about my dream that I have, my reoccurring dream?
Maybe.
Yes, you did.
I think I know I told Antonio. My reoccurring dream is there's a road, the border between between New Hampshire and Vermont, is a river, the Connecticut River. And on the New Hampshire side, there's a road that literally travels parallel to this river. Gorgeous drive. But I have a reoccurring dream. I haven't had it in a few months now. And that's probably the longest stretch that's been for quite a while. Watch, I'll probably have a dream about it tonight now.
You said so. You jinxed it.
But I have a recurring dream that I'm driving down that road. Suddenly, I am driving off the road and I drown because I crashed the car into the river.
Scary.
Down that very specific road. So I'm pretty sure one day you guys are going to like receive like a message or something saying Adam died prematurely. Like he just died. I can't believe it, right? How did he die? Oh, he crashed into the Connecticut River driving down route whatever the fuck it was. My God, it happened.
It was a premonition.
Like it was foretold.
But I swear to God, there was a time there where I was literally having it like once or twice a month for a while.
That's scary.
I don't know what triggered it. I don't know. The only thing that I could
Just a
possibly think
paranoia.
of is I've driven down that road in snowstorms, and it's pretty treacherous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if that kind of is what's in my head, but for some reason my brain is telling me, you know, it's summer. It's just a regular
Yeah.
thing.
Got its seasons mixed up.
The brain is a rather harsh mistress.
You have no idea how mean my brain is to me when I'm dreaming. My brain can get me to believe anything when I'm dreaming.
Yeah, you and I had a heart-to-heart about this on the
actually,
Hershey's road trip.
I think on the Hershey trip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the Hershey's trip. Yeah.
We were talking until like 3-4 in the morning about like dreams that we had. If you want to talk about horrifying recurring dream, one of my horrifying recurring nightmares is it's very short, but boy howdy does it pack a punch. I will dream that I am getting into my car to go somewhere. I never really know where. I put my car in reverse. I back out of the driveway. And then my car doesn't stop. It just keeps accelerating backwards.
Oh.
And essentially the dream ends with me bracing for impact whenever it happens.
Do you still have well, you got in a car accident before though, right?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where that came from.
1000%.
It's that remaining fear.
Yeah, it's always there.
Left over from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this the part where we turn into a therapy session?
I was gonna say we're back to
This is gonna be. I think this is gonna be a thing. Yeah. This is what the show
I
should be.
can't fucking believe him.
Are you gonna return that? Is that the tag sticking out?
Where? Oh.
Wow. Called
Where?
out live on stream, Jim.
Right
Oh my
here.
gosh.
Left side.
I don't know what that is.
It's a ghost.
Sorry.
Oh.
Never mind. Never mind.
I don't know what that is. Stop it.
Stop.
Stop.
Oh, skeleton. Or, sorry.
What were we talking about?
Therapy.
Just the tag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the tag.
No, if you pull that out, you'll get arrested. It's like a mattress.
Oh. Then I won't do that. I don't want to be arrested. I don't want you guys
not?
to arrest me.
Of all
What
things
would you
to be
do if
arrested
suddenly the
for,
police
pulling
kicked
your-
open that door behind me? Like, and I pulled this giant prank on you guys.
You know
Right
what?
now.
I'd believe it.
I'd
I
respect
believe
believe
it?
that you would get arrested.
Yeah. For something.
Yeah, for something.
For something. I don't know what. But definitely arrested.
You're arrested for impersonating a monkey.
something. An ape. Sir, monkey is a derogatory term.
You're just like an ape, you pig.
That's actually canon, though. There's a line in Escape from the Planet of the Apes where Cornelius keeps getting called a monkey, and he slams his fist on the table and he goes, "Sir, I am not a monkey, I am an ape." I just want to. I want to preface something right now. I took an edible about an hour ago, and that is.
And it's hitting.
Oh, it's hitting. I'm telling you.
He says in the monkey mask. You want to know what you sound like right now? You sound like when me and Pete were about 70 hours into playing Sonic, and we were just absolutely delirious.
Well, you had a right to be. I'm just high.
Can I get a clip of that?
Oh, I understand. You're racist against my tag.
Yes, correct.
Oh, the camera's still on me. I didn't mean to keep it on. Well,
Well, this was fun.
happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Well,
It's time for bed.
it is time for bed.
It's time for
Adam,
bed.
close the
I wish
show.
to thank everybody for watching. We actually had a pretty good crowd tonight. I knew we would. The Halloween specials always do. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Well, I was joined by my guests, Jenny, James, and Antonio. 2 out of the 3 of you have channels worth pimping out over. So, Jim knows what I'm talking about. Jenny, if you could pimp yourself out a little bit, that'd be absolutely fantastic. What content do you make, and where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube under Magically Jenny. I have a cosplay Instagram, Magically Jenny Cosplay. I kind of do Disney cosplay content, and yeah, so come give me a follow. I'd love to see you guys over there.
Absolutely. And links to all of their social media, by the way, will be in the description below. All right. Next is Jim. Jim, pimp yourself out. What do you do, sir?
I kind of have a YouTube channel. If you want to follow me, it's Scrappy Dop. I sometimes stream Forza. That's about it. Like racing games.
When was the last time you streamed?
Probably 6 months.
Yeah. Well, once again, his social media is in the description below. But last but certainly not least, the one, the only little boy game controller network. Pimp yourself out, Antonio.
Hi, I have a YouTube channel called Game
I have a
Controller
gay.
Network where I have a gay. His name is Adam. All right. Yeah, I got
Excuse
a
me,
channel
I am
called
not
Game
gay.
Control-
I am a monkey.
Monkeys can't be gay. Didn't
No.
AIDS come from
I
monkeys?
thought you were an ape. I thought you were an ape.
I'm an ape.
You sure are.
Antonio, talk about yourself. Where can people find you?
Well, you see, Game Controller Network is my YouTube channel. I make a lot of gaming content there. I have a big Halloween video in the works right now that's going to be released at the end of the month. It's going to be hours long, and might have a few surprises in there. Yeah. But also, other than that, I stream 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. I stream stuff. I'm streaming stuff like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Final Fantasy 16's coming up soon again. I'm playing Super Mario Eclipse. A lot of Mario right now. A lot of new Mario stuff just happens in the community, so that's why.
And Antonio's also in a lot of content on this channel, and because there's some people that I have never seen before, and I have a feeling I know where you're coming from, but Antonio is on my channel definitely a lot. We have our new show, Season 3 of our show, Fat Man Little Boy, is currently in the editing process, and I'm really excited for that. Episode 1 turned out fantastic. All my social media, of course, is in the description below. And, well, I'm just going to pull up the split screen one last time, because look, all 4 of the amigos are here in one giant live stream. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, and I know it's so early in the month, but happy fucking Halloween, everybody. Make it a fucking good one.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
Spooky, scary skeletons.